Everybody ready? All right, everybody ready? I'm about to, here we go. Greetings, Ranger fans, and welcome to our rap party.
Hi.
All right. Welcome to everybody in the chat. I see we've got Sean, Rudy, Jenny. Welcome. So, quick round of introductions, I suppose, just in case you weren't aware of who everybody is. Hopefully you can all hear us okay. Welcome, Dyrado. I know I'm a little farther from the laptop than usual to make sure we could get everybody in here. So obviously I'm Jake Brody. I play Database Ranger and Dark Spectre and anyone whose face you don't see, or I voice Zordon. I've done a bunch of things, and I'm the creator of the show and all that stuff. You guys know who I am. You've been listening to me yammer for 12 years. Okay, next up.
Speak. I'm David DePaula. I play Guy. Friendly neighborhood, next door neighbor.
He's a lot more friendly in real life.
Yeah.
Usually.
Hi, I'm Betsy Bartlett, and I frankly don't know where I fit into this universe. I just show up and help out. Thank you.
AKA Madam Director. Who you may also recall from the her small role in Current Grid Defense as well.
Yes. Zagger is here, and he would like to go.
Yeah. Bye, Frankie.
Bye.
Thank you for your little guest appearance.
And I'm MJ. I'm Dr. K. I'm Mayo. I'm K Alpha. I'm Hands. I'm the backside of Peggy sometimes.
Yep.
I'm a wig. I'm too many things.
Yes. And then we also have a pizza here, complete with
Bananas!
the pizza literally just arrived, and we have not had time to put bananas on it to make a proper Thriller Gorilla pizza.
Which, by the way, the base of the Thriller Gorilla pizza is
Chicken parm pizza. Chicken parm pizza with sliced bananas on top.
Pretty sure enough. Cook it. Pretty good.
Yeah. It may be a little. It might not have quite the best flavor because we weren't able to.
We're not gonna have time to cook the bananas.
Heat the bananas on the pizza, but if you have a moment to you slice the bananas on the pizza, let it warm in the oven for a little bit, it gets to the same temperature as everything else, and it's a little extra sweetness.
Okay, I gotta tell you something. Y'all two have both eaten the Thriller Gorilla.
That's right, you
I
have
have
not.
never eaten the Thriller Gorilla pizza because neither Mayo nor K Alpha was ever served Thriller Gorilla pizza, and the secretary hasn't.
This is the first I've even heard of
Madam Secretary.
This is what, like,
secretaries.
This
Former
is like the
secretary,
third
current
time I
secretary,
made
and
you eat this. The fourth time I made you eat it.
This, madam?
Because I
Ma'am.
believe you had to eat it at
Yes,
Jungle
that's
Park
okay,
Pizza
Paul.
with Master Joe.
Yes.
And then
Sir,
you fed
ma'am.
it to Dr. C.
Which, by the way, are
And then there was this episode.
Yep, this one.
And now this will be the fourth time.
There you go.
And then I just eat it for
I mean,
the lulz.
there's two people
Because
who
I make you guys eat it, I figure I
I'm
might as
only
well
giving
too.
Yeah, for amusement.
backstories.
Once again, set
Yes.
the scene, give me my lines.
So Rudy's asking about what about
Betsy is
after
very
power
relaxed.
reviews. I can talk about the future after
Well,
we get through.
Keep in mind, y'all, we had to hire a babysitter. There's
Yes.
a babysitter in the playroom
Downstairs.
with the kids.
Yes.
So we're limited at this point.
Yes.
Or was it
We now, when we started this, we were just two people living in a one-bedroom apartment. Now we have a home with two children.
You were just children when you started this.
Jake was temping.
I was temping. I hadn't even started temping. when
Okay,
this
then you were
started.
selling knives door
I
to
was
door.
selling knives when this started. I hadn't even gotten a 9-to-5 temp job yet.
Been along for
Yeah.
years.
So he didn't even have a job
Yeah.
when this started, a real job. I mean,
I
you
mean,
were selling knives and you kept us afloat.
I was an assistant manager selling knives.
There you go.
There
They
was a
wanted
period of
they
time
wanted
where I
me to
lost
be
my job.
they wanted to give me my own district office.
You know, you have my respect because when you pulled me into this, you did not even mention you were selling knives, nor tried to sell me knives.
Well,
and I was gainfully employed.
To be fair, when I pulled you into this, I hadn't been selling knives for about 2 years.
That explains things.
Yeah.
Yeah, your character came later.
Because you came in, you didn't join us until episode 68 was
I
your
know.
first appearance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So we're watching
I'm just
episode 100 tonight.
Yes, this is the
Somebody's
final
going to
episode.
tell me what's going on. Right? I'll just go with
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So this is going to be fun because obviously
Marty's not in this.
I've been fully in
Okay.
this.
Well, Marty was. When was the last time Marty?
Marty was last in it in episode 95. Was when he was
So
able
he made
to last
pretty
make it.
close to the end.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't seen the last couple of scenes I came in.
And those are in this episode.
Right,
Okay.
because he had bowed out, he
Right.
felt like he couldn't keep up with it anymore.
Which, I mean, we've been doing it for over 10 years at that point.
Yeah.
People want to be done.
And I hate to say it, but Marty makes me look like a spring chicken.
We've all definitely like
I met Marty and Betsy first doing The Wizard of Oz.
yeah, that's how we met.
She was the Wicked Witch of the West, and Marty was the Wizard of Oz.
I am sweet and wonderful. I can never do anything. She
Oh.
played.
The
Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, and I see like Simeon say in the chat saying, I remember Jake announcing he was going to go back to school to get into teaching, and thinking, oh man, how's he gonna juggle all that? Yeah. now I've been like
seems easy now, right?
now this is my like 9th year in education.
Wow.
Like out of the 12 years I've been doing this, 9 of them I've been in education.
And they were not consecutive.
Well, I spent 2 years teaching in private school, and then 2 years tutoring while working through
Oh,
grad
you're
school.
counting the tutoring.
That's why I say in education rather than teaching, because I was tutoring for 2 years.
At the private school.
Well, first that was at a private school and also at the tutoring center.
That's right. Yeah, but I think that most of the money came in from the private school.
Probably actually. I think I got most of my hours at the tutoring center.
Dave's his guy.
Because I remember doing some stuff for you up at the private school, but I don't remember
Yeah.
if it was this or something else.
No, it wasn't. It was. It could have been. I think because we started. No, it was this.
Could be right
If you
now.
met us at the private school, because Grid Defense was filmed at our place, at our first apartment. We filmed that in summer of 2016, right before we moved to the private school.
Okay.
And then I think I brought you in
It's
for
happy
some
screaming.
stuff with as
Yeah, because
Madam
I did
Director.
some stuff before the private school, then
Yeah.
I remember going
We
out
did
to the private school.
we did a
Oh,
tiny
you
little.
did a bit over.
Oh wait, no. Now I remember. You filmed a scene at the private school before we lived there because I worked there for a
Oh,
year
that private school.
before the one that we lived at.
All right, so they give me a scorecard because I'm obviously
Sorry.
talking about basketball.
But while he was teaching, he also tutored.
I
at a
tutored
different
at a different private school.
Okay,
Yeah.
so yes, you were living, I believe, at
I-
the private
I
school.
wasn't-
That was the one you
I
taught.
wasn't living there
Yes, you taught it.
yet when we filmed there.
I thought you were in the
He taught there
apartment.
2 years.
We were
We lived
were
there
in
one.
the process of moving there. We were.
Okay.
It was the summer that
Because
we
you were
moved
still
there.
painting and
Mhm.
setting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so we weren't living there yet, but we had a place there that we had just had moved into.
Frankie.
Smells good, doesn't it?
All right.
You know, Toto, did you ever realize that we were going to be walking such a strange
No.
road?
Oh,
Rudy's
by the way, I was
the first
Toto.
power review. All right.
Not Dorothy.
No.
All right. So Sim,
Not Munchkin.
we're starting to get a little bit of questions here from the chat. So
I was
Okay.
waiting for you next. but you
Simeon's
just cut me
asking.
off.
I suppose it would be a good idea to ask. Now the show's officially over. What's everyone's general feeling about that? Pride, accomplishment, shock, relief?
Relief.
Betsy, how do you feel?
I'm just a bouncing ball. It's, I guess, I'll miss it. It was nice getting together with you guys every, so often for some weird and strange
Well, we can
reason.
still get together.
It just
Yes,
won't be
but
as
it won't be the same as
It won't be
walking in
strange.
and having you guys hand me some outfit and say, here, put this on and say this. Which now that I say it sounds really kind of
Well,
creepy.
what is this doing? Why,
Playing, apparently.
I don't know why it keeps
Yeah.
jumping ahead like 8 minutes. It just stop
Well,
that. There it goes. Okay, we'll get that going. And then Dave.
Relief. A little sad. So now we actually need to make plans instead of a different excuse to get together and hang out. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, but y'all have seen the
Like-
state of my dining room. It's all paint samples. I can finish painting the dining room.
Hey.
Uh-oh, I think she just thought of a reason to have us come over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, y'all are not painting my dining room. I like painting.
No,
Cool.
and then obviously I've been living this nonstop for 12 years.
And
so
because
yeah.
you've been living this nonstop for 12 years, I've been living this nonstop for 12 years.
Yeah, but it's we can agree that it's at least a little different. You've just had to. You've had other things going on that you had to address because of me. But in terms of actually staring at the screen, watching us do these scenes over and over and over again, 1,000,000 times over for 12 straight years, that's the way I've been living in this, which is a little different.
I can't reach my own feet. Can you stop editing for a minute to help me put on socks?
And
While
I
I'm creating your second child?
would! And I would! I would stop and I'd come and I'd put on your socks.
And then you go right
Unless you had
Right
something
down
else
to
for me to
the-
do.
yeah.
Different level of involvement with the show,
Yes.
but a different level of involvement with everything else
Yes.
in the world.
literally everything else. So
Yeah.
that's why relief.
Okay.
So, but I will admit there's also some pride and accomplishment and shock in there too, because like it was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And like it just
Especially in the end, y'all don't understand. Jake used the same computer through this entire thing.
yeah
The same
Oh my
desktop computer
God, this is
carried
so-
us through the whole.
barely.
Barely.
Oh my
The
This
last
is a 2008
years.
Mac Pro.
The last 2 years, I have been praying that this machine
We're done.
does not cork it and take the
We had-
entire thing with it.
We had so many close calls too. That thing almost died several
And by the way,
times.
I work in IT, so every time this thing comes close to dying, who has to fix the computer?
So that's when you go in the back room, light some candles, do
Yeah.
some chants,
Oh,
and it starts working
It's
again.
a 2008 Mac. It basically is voodoo trying to make that
I'm
thing still work.
just saying. It's
Okay,
either that or
I mostly support Windows machines. I don't ever want to touch that thing again.
It's
Oh, so after this, we're going to take it out back and set it on fire?
no.
Oh,
It's honestly
I brought my
honestly it,
marshmallows.
what it
I
deserves.
love marshmallows.
You know what?
Marshmallows.
It put in the work too. It deserves a nice
decent
recovery.
burial.
A better send off.
But now
Viking
Mary.
funeral or something.
Like
Yeah.
I still like,
You got the one.
again, all right, so we'll burn it and we'll put it in the middle of your
you know what? You know what? It's old enough. It will take care of the fire.
Again, put it on the raft, put the candles on it, shove it out, that's your nice Viking burial. You know,
Is
little red
everything-
marshmallows.
Is everything backed up from it now? I need that seems like a
No,
project.
no, everything is not back up right now. That being said, various hard drives within the machine are considerably younger than the machine itself.
That's true.
So Jake has filled how many 2 terabyte hard drives?
Oh, I've got like a pair of 4 terabyte hard drives in there.
There are multiple terabytes of new hard drives in that
I have-
machine. It's the boot disk that was barely
Yeah,
hanging
I
on.
basically have. I have pretty much, with the exception of like some like things that
The
got
problem is that
corrupted.
if the
and
boot disk died, he was going to lose his copy of Adobe Premiere
But,
that we no longer have the installation media for, and buying Premiere again, that's just not happening. He got it on student discount when he was a student.
Yes, that is exactly the version of Premiere I've been using this whole time. 100%. Absolutely.
So years from now, your children will be
absolutely.
cleaning out the house, and they will find this
Put the show on discs.
in the corner and all the discs in a shrine.
We need to get
I mean, it's
honestly,
it's a nice
what-
case.
you know what I would I have dreamt
It's an
for
aluminum,
years and thought it would always be lovely
nice, chunky,
to have just a
matte
nice
body.
So the
Database Rangers Power Reviews DVD box set. I need to talk to Brian Ward from Shout Factory. That's what we need to do.
Dave and I were just talking about
Yeah.
this. Is
Physical media. Yeah.
physical media
Yeah.
is will they even have the means to
To
play
read physical
to
media. in the
see it?
future.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, you know what? I think the only physical media that's actually going to stand the test of time in that way is there's a reason that we put a record on Voyager.
Right.
Even that is more of a technology. I was talking to Dave about making sure that you go back through your
Oh, we need to put this all on
physical
celluloid,
pictures.
obviously.
Celluloid in that case. Yeah, you've got to have physical pictures and a good old-fashioned photo album where they can flip the pictures
That was
and say,
reminding me.
why was mom dressed?
Wanting
Simmons
Well,
already
birds,
signed.
yeah, they
Simmons
got
already signed up basically for the
all of our
pre-order
wedding
on the box.
pictures
Oh, there
are
you go.
USB drives, and I really like those somewhere else as well.
No, what I need to do is I need to reach out to Brian Ward, show him that one clip of him from episode 94.
Okay.
Say, you're in this, can you make me DVD?
No, because in the clip, because it's supposed to be like this perfect world that he's been dropped into.
Oh,
He
right.
actually runs up
The
and says,
Lotus Eater.
"We need to talk about the Power Reviews box set." I'm like, I want to follow up on this. I'm just gonna kind of hope that it's long enough. It's been long
He's
enough. He
forgotten
doesn't
the
remember the
context.
context, and it's just like, well, I guess I promised this. I don't remember why, but okay. It's on video. I clearly said it.
There's a record.
Oh, okay.
So we should
We did
probably.
promise the babysitter would be done before bedtime.
Yeah, we should probably get started on the actual episode itself. So
Can we get some pizza?
yeah, hun, you got the plates. You got the plates. You got the knife.
Pass down. Pass down.
Skip me.
Oh yeah, because you ate.
Because you ate.
You ate
Because
before.
I watched football and didn't think and had wings and pizza before I arrived.
It's okay. It's okay.
Always room
Does
for
anybody know what
pizza.
the final score is, by the way?
What was the game?
There's a
Chewing
Oh,
up.
please.
sports
Bills.
ball. I don't know. I don't know.
Bills.
All right.
Oh wait, I got a text from the banana.
You got a text from the banana?
No, Reggie. RJ wants one.
Oh, text for the banana.
Well, it's a good thing you brought this. You brought some extra bananas.
Some extras.
A good thing. And eventually,
All right.
I'll find out if the Bills.
Cut it per piece.
Anybody out there
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
tell me
we'll
if the
just
Bills
slice it
survived the game or not?
All right, so you pick you first.
Oh,
Yeah, guess
there
picks
you go.
first.
We'll go with this one. Right in front of me.
There we go. I'll grab this one right here. You want to slice it yourself, or shall I?
Sure.
Okay.
I gave you my phone on the floor.
I didn't know if you wanted me to do
I heard
the
it
real,
hit. Figured
Yeah,
to say
if you want
for
to
the
do it.
record, I picked it up.
like the pepper grind is.
Sure.
That took me a full 5 minutes. I am so
Banana
sorry,
for you,
babysitter.
banana for you.
This banana, the shape banana. Oh no, it's
After you.
go ahead.
No. The thing is, I
This is what's the deal in the garden.
should make it buzz. Hang on.
There we go. Little sliced banana there for you. Slicing it nice and thin, nice and thin. Can you tell? Can you tell? I used to be a knife salesman.
See how thin the slices
But,
are.
how
Vibrate.
did you like the knives you were selling?
Oh yeah, they're
Oh
great
yeah, we
knives.
still use them.
Yeah, no, they're quality knives. Like I'm not
Sorry,
gonna.
buddy, you bought a set.
I did, yeah.
Oh yeah, he's got the same shit that I remember. You were one of my first.
Do I see ricotta dollops? Yes, you do. This particular.
All right, there we go. This
Thank you,
there you
thank you.
go. There you go. I
And
can
now
work it
everybody
on
here
myself.
Sam knows the recipe for the Gorilla Gorilla.
Yep, deep order chicken parm pizza.
I was about to find out. 3410
I was hoping somebody
versus
out
the
there.
Titans.
Good. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, the Bills, you never know.
I don't know who. Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
know the sports much.
Yeah. Same.
only the Bills, and only because of my years
Check the
in
chat, yeah.
Buffalo. Once, yeah, you will.
Put that on my lap so I
sorry.
feel it vibrate if the babysitter vibrates.
Buffalo. Where is it?
Buffalo.
Do they still? Do the buffalo still fly over the skies of Buffalo? Is that where you have to harvest the wings?
What is this, a Simpsons joke?
No, but the thing is what Jake may not realize is that I'm old enough to have been in Buffalo when wings were invented.
Wait, what?
Wow.
I thought those were invented long before.
I
It was
just-
like,
I just realized that you have no
Wings are
napkins or anything.
recent
I'm gonna grab some
I would
little
have
paper
to know
towels for napkins
Google
there.
what year they were invented. And
Okay.
by the way, it's Duff's, not
Duff.
Anchor Bar.
Okay.
Gotta do Duff's, not Anchor Bar.
I've tried Anchor Bar, haven't tried Duff's yet. but
Gotta go with Duff's. I'm just saying.
all right.
We stopped in Buffalo once.
All right,
It was a
everybody's-
convenient way on the
Here,
way
here.
to someplace.
Oh,
We headed
thank
to
you.
Indiana for a
There
here.
All right.
you go.
We thought, you know what? It's only a little out of the way.
This is
Let's
becoming a
slide out to
mukbang.
Buffalo.
All right. Now we got everything. Okay.
We
Now
got pizza.
one
we got
little
bananas.
tradition for
Ah,
I know
yes.
Betsy, you haven't been here before, but we always like to before we kick things
Well,
off.
Dave hasn't been on a live stream.
I haven't. This is my first time on a live stream.
No, you were around for when they did the 93.
I trust
Yeah,
you.
that was your focus. That was one of your
Were you
focus.
doing this
Oh, my
back then?
focus.
Yeah, 93.
And
you were
Yeah.
on there.
roughly how
Just like-
old in your losing?
No, I'm
There's enough going
But
on.
we always
okay.
like to recite our 3 equally non-controversial phrases, or what we believe should be equally non-controversial. So number 1, here we go. Say it with me, chat. Black Lives Matter.
Okay.
Number 2, say it with me, chat.
Fascism
Fascism is bad. Number 3, say it with me, chat. Superheroes are fun. These should be 3 equally non-controversial phrases. I believe.
I can live with those.
There we go.
All right.
And now, with all that
Now
said, I'm
you
gonna
can go to
be
sleep.
getting close. Oh no, I need to reset the TV again. There we go. All right.
Modern technology.
So
I'm glad
now-
you brought extra bananas, by the way, because if we had used the only one on the pizza, then
Yeah,
Reggie
Reggie
would've
would have,
been
or
upset.
RJ would have.
A little extra brown.
Yeah.
It'll do.
Well,
All
next
right.
they work on the pizza.
Yep. All right. So here we go. My face is about to get far closer than everyone else's, but I'm making sure not to obscure anyone. There we go. I'm trying to be nice. So let us kick off our look back on episode 100. We're not even looking that far back. We're looking back to last week, to Monday.
It was supposed to be one day after the other.
Episode 100 of Database Rangers Power Reviews. Oops, I'm going to adjust that little light.
Okay, because Jacob said
The
something might be
final
wrong,
episode,
then
the
he
series
texted me,
finale
like, 15
of Database Rangers Power Reviews. Our review of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Episode 1. Yep. Episode 1. Day of the Dumpster. Let's go.
So thank you to both of these guys for rescheduling with us.
Yes. Yes, the previously on segments, I'm just like, I'm not going to try and recap 100 episodes. Everything happened.
Everything
And
happened.
that's a throwback to the first episode where I said, previously on Power Reviews, nothing happened.
Because it was the first episode.
And then this
And this is a
right
throwback to the first episode where he was just sitting in front of the camera.
Was that actually?
That was actually footage from the very first episode.
Can't help but think back on how it all started.
You can hear the difference
The
in
moment
audio
Yeah.
too.
everything back to. I've spent so much of my life analyzing
Yep.
every
I can understand that one.
Yep, this is right after I've had this whole big battle with the big bad, and you locked him away for eternity,
look back on
and
how it
it took a lot out of
At
me.
the cost of being free floating in space and probably going to die.
and the countless others out there.
So this is sort of this is kind of the coda onto the big final battle we had in the previous
There are
episode.
so many things I could ask my kids.
The dumpster.
We got cast Q&A, so if you cast one,
And the two
Kind of cute.
astronauts who were charged with exploring
so
as they depart their
I'm reflecting upon the first episode of Power Rangers as
Oh,
I'm
this is the first episode of
Yeah.
Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Not
So-
you guys in particular. Power Rangers.
Well, we are reflecting on
Is that internal episodes that
Oh, and there's me playing. See, that's the evil me inside the gem that I just walked away.
I should have you know that the prop for that is blue.
Yes.
So there's some parallel.
That was a surprisingly tricky shot.
It's just a paperweight item.
Yeah.
So it's technically always revealing an episode of Power Rangers, but there's also an underlying story.
Although
going on.
surprisingly,
Yeah.
instead of
Sure.
screeching around,
Good check.
Finster who points out.
Simeon, that effect was me turning digitally. I just had to just like balance on my toes very, very carefully as I just slowly rotated myself. And then I spun it around on the green screen. Dave, do you have a favorite Power Ranger?
Obviously, Power Rangers are so old. In reverse
Somebody
letterbox.
just asked.
You know what's fun is when you say Power Rangers was
Like,
so
I go back to
old,
Mighty
and
Morphin as
yet
some of
I
my
want to
favorites.
say it came about when I was like,
But then, actually, you recommended to me when we started watching RPM.
It'll make sense.
There.
Get cool.
Oh, yeah.
Elementary school.
Just in general, RPM is all fun.
And thus we're introduced
And then
to the city of Angel Grove.
You can also see the little flickering of
Favorite hangout spot of our
kind of the premise of this is as I'm floating through space, I'm remembering not just how Power Rangers started, but also how Power Reviews started.
okay.
So this is me pitching the idea to MJ's character.
do you intend to call it?
Power Reviews. Database Rangers Power Reviews. The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are introduced, engaging in their
You know what I'm talking
That
about?
character is the queen of the snap.
practicing gymnastics, sparring, and form.
All of it
Before
unintentional.
conveniently calling each other clearly by
She's
name
just really
in
blonde.
short succession.
Oh, Rudy was saying how it'd be nice to check out Once and Always. Yeah.
They're good friends.
Oh, is that the more recent one?
That was the 30-year anniversary.
I didn't get a chance to, but I'd love to watch it.
So good.
However,
Yeah, that's not
yeah.
bad.
Two fellows that will go on to become
I don't get a lot of
the
time to
longest
watch things
lasting
right now, but
I get it. You got to because
two of themselves.
But yes, just I don't know the Power Ruby
That was a
that I use is
amazing
blue.
installment for me, and I don't really have the whole thing with it, but I want Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. It is a large letter phenomenon.
I borrowed it from the guy next door.
Here's the thing, he actually borrowed the camera from Dave!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, the first camera that was in use
Both
was,
besides the press.
yep.
And
borrowed
didn't
from me.
return it until 12 years later.
I was gonna say, how about that camera?
Wait,
Dave?
have you not returned it?
Dave, I want to tell you something.
Oh no.
I want to tell you something.
Don't say it.
Viking funeral.
Don't say it.
First camera.
No.
Ah.
No, here's what I want to tell you. You already knew the first camera died.
Yes, it's true.
But what you didn't know is that shot,
Wow.
that shot just there, I wanted to make sure it matched. So I went online and found the exact same camera. And if you want it, it is yours. I have it downstairs waiting for you. It's got its own carrying case and everything.
And I believe the
Full
original
circle
hard drive,
all around.
But
and I believe the original hard drive,
and it has the original hard drive in it.
which we had to transfer
I had to
into.
transfer the hard drives because that was the only way to get some of the Power Morphicon audio off of it.
Was to get it onto the same camera.
Because the camera had died
With the
with
data in
footage
it.
I needed off of it.
Oh no. Yeah.
So I had to get a new camera, transfer the hard drive into the new camera, and then get it off of there into my computer.
Unfortunately, Billy
Um,
leading Jason to pause
So yes, the original camera is dead, but we do have it resurrected.
Yeah.
I thought you gave that to him after that.
I forget what happened to the original one. It's
I-
recycling.
Apparently you knew it.
I have it. It's in pieces
Knowledge of
because I had to disassemble it to get the hard drive out. And I
And that's why the
couldn't
replacement is yours.
However, there's
And I thought the replacement was already given to him. Never mind.
eager to learn.
I'm sure, Dave, you don't have enough stuff in your basement.
Oh,
that you need another.
Oh please, we have Dave's old dead CRT TV now.
Oh geez,
Yeah,
is
we
it
still
dead
have-
now?
I don't know if it died actually. We just stopped using it.
No, mine is dead. Dave's is still potentially
No,
alive.
yours actually still works.
Barely.
I used it for this episode.
Loyalty and discipline that Billy
Yeah.
That-
Trying
Oh,
to get-
that's the
Yeah, that shot.
That's my CRT
That shot in the
television for my
apartment.
college dorm.
The shot in the apartment is your old TV because that was the TV that appeared in those early episodes. I
I'll
kept
tell you,
that.
there's some
I
interesting
kept that
camera
TV
clips in there.
for this episode.
Okay, there's
Here it is. There it is. You can see it right behind. Funny thing, this was
This
filmed.
is not the same apartment,
This was filmed in our second apartment
which is why the camera goes down and around.
to
You
hide
don't
the fact
realize
that we
that
don't
there's a
have.
doorway over there now.
Yeah, and to hide the fact the windows aren't above the TV like they were before.
Great job.
There's a doorway over there where the TV is. But luckily, the cabinets and the TV were still in the same orientation. So as long as you went down and around with the cabinets, it worked.
Yeah.
I had to adjust a few things to make it work, but I think it worked pretty well.
Get a job! That is literally what my character
But yeah, that was an interesting shot because now we've gotten in the flashbacks far enough back that before database had any access to a camera. So
This
that's
is the same piece of hallway! Over
Yeah,
and over and
just at a
over!
slightly different angle each time. And then yes, I had to do Star Trek, shake it in post.
Some techniques will never die.
I mean, I'm pretty sure Star Trek just reuses the same corridor too, it's just that they have a whole corridor.
They do.
And we only have this much corridor. They have a whole corridor.
Have you guys ever done a Star Trek?
I've done like 12
The Star Trek set that they recreated up north?
Not yet.
No.
Oh, I haven't been there yet, but from what I've heard, they have recreated
And yes,
every.
Rudy knows that I was watching Linkara's History of the Power Rangers on that laptop in that shot.
Really do love that.
But yeah, all these flashbacks at this point are now POV shots because he doesn't have a camera to reference back to.
It's internal memory system.
So it's,
Right,
yeah,
because the screen doesn't exist yet.
and that's why the shot that was in your basement for the laundry
It's taken from the security.
is for the security camera because Guy has security cameras all over the place.
Yeah.
Because he was a secret agent.
Yeah.
I understand how these teams fit that description.
Um,
Does he teleport the
It's fun putting a little filter on there to time out the fact that was not the old laundry room and was just your basement.
Yep.
Right, because we no longer had access to that laundry room because that laundry room was with our apartment that we moved out of when?
8 years ago.
Yeah. So
And then this shot was a great shot. This was also filmed in the second apartment, but meant to match.
Second
the
department.
Dr. K, I love
Well-
Star Rangers RPS.
Third.
There was an entire intervening
okay,
other location we
third
looked
department.
at.
Yeah. I don't think that's an apartment though. That
You know, that was. I'm just saying.
and here's where we finally get to see
Database. Ranger.
what I've been telling people
Database Ranger.
was always coming. The moment that database met Dr. K. Because that was the mystery
This is our home.
that had not been addressed yet. Also, that little, I had to put in
That
that little,
wall doesn't exist.
I had to put in that little blink so that I could transition to a different shot for him to look up at the cabinet.
Excellent.
Also, I put in, the Power Rangers Samurai thing in post. And again, it's still using your old TV.
We can still in the basement. Because it now costs money to get someone to get rid of the
I was
share.
gonna say, and it'll be there for eternity.
Like they can find like a retro video game store.
And of course,
it works well.
me and Dr. K talked about it.
I just saw an ad on our local neighborhood webpage. Somebody was actually looking over here. Do you want me to reply to them?
Well, send us the link.
I'll try to. It was probably several hours ago.
I will admit that one shot where Kay was doing mental technical was one of the few shots where I had to use some archived audio for the warpop.
Yeah, it's kind of a running joke that Dr. C's not getting listened to. I mean, half of what he says is.
And this is again, and we're getting into databases struggles with remembering exactly how they ended up in the apartment, which again was always part of the mystery.
Data corruption going on.
Yeah.
This show is so old that a Nintendo Wii factors into it.
Yeah. As a
It's
major
a major
plot
plot point.
Well, then there was a Wii U.
It's actually the wireless internet. And we never owned a Wii U, by the way.
point. Yours.
That came from Save.
Oh, I love that shot. I
And
think
half the time the
This
Wii
is
U.
cool. I like this.
Oh yeah.
That
I was
was
not actually in the
actually
TV. That's compositing.
that's purely me layering my face onto the TV and layering MJ
Like
into
putting
the
me
TV.
in and his own reflection onto it at the same
Yeah, I was
time.
curious
So
if you
it's
did
really
reflection
good
on it,
compositing.
if you did both together. That was a good one.
None of
Because
us
you
did
can't
ever
do
own a Wii U though.
just straight on reflection.
We only borrowed the Wii Pad like twice, and the rest of the time, what looks like the top edge of the Wii Pad is actually the bottom of the takeout container.
That is true.
You establish the shot and then once it's there.
Yeah, we give you your Wii Pad back, so we don't do the same thing to your Wii Pad. We give you your camera.
You know, it's so true, whether it's theater or television, but the magic that is performed to make something believable. Unless you get involved in theater or television, you have no idea what sleight of hand or misdirection can accomplish.
This episode has scenes in it that were filmed over at least 8 years.
Oh yeah, this video.
Wow.
This video was filmed. We started filming shots for this video in 2016.
Because that's when we wrapped up our podcast.
That's when we that's when we
That's
stopped
when we
having
wrapped
the
the
apartment.
apartment. That's when we wrapped the
I
apartment.
remember
The
you
podcast was 2018.
Yeah, 19.
19.
So yeah, we filmed stuff for this episode from 2016 until 2022.
Knowing we were moving out of the apartment and we were going to need certain shots.
You did some stock photos in advance.
Not just stock, but Jake pre-wrote certain scenes.
Yeah.
Like there are scenes that include like us going through the door.
Yeah.
The door to our old apartment.
Yeah.
And we had to take care of those in advance.
Yeah.
Because we weren't going to be able to go through that door. Although, there are also scenes from the parking lot of our old apartment that we went back there after we moved out.
7 years later.
7 years later.
And nobody questions you.
No,
They were just out in the parking lot.
Really?
no,
Happens.
with a cat carrier.
With that little camera. Also, one of the things I do like about how the television
I mean, they never
effect
said this
works
when they did
is
this,
that I like
Yeah,
that
we
I
did
had
pretty
the
regular
smooth
with
transition
that.
of him
They
watching
just
it
got
on the
used
TV
to it.
before it transitions into
So used to us that they were used to us 7 years later. I mean, I don't even
Well,
expect
no, to
the same
begin
people
with,
to
I mean, they at least you showed up, they knew you lived there, and then 7 years later, nobody noticed that. Who are you? I guess I'm.
And then you can also see as I'm pushing my hand in, my fingers become pixelated once they're on the
Yes,
other
I saw
side.
that. Yeah.
Because the CRT doesn't have the best resolution.
I use an effect called Mosaic, and that kind of breaks it down so there's like only so many pixels to make everything look a little better.
They all leap into action, drawing upon their respective strengths.
But I tried to have as many of these shots in this episode. You know, as far as these flashback shots work, as far as being POV shots, as made sense narratively. Some shots I just couldn't get a good enough angle to quite pull it off, and some shots I had to play around with a few things because it's kind of in your head. You can play around with it. There you go. There first. That is the moment.
Why does Kay always use a fall of milk?
Wait, what?
Apparently, you had a line in there about Kay using a fall of milk, and you having to go shopping for it.
Oh, I love that shot. I was looking away from that shot. That was the shot that has over 40 of you.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That was the last thing I filmed.
That took an entire month out of the summer, basically. That
They
shot.
just put on different costumes.
For me, editing that. Also, fun fact with regards to that blue smoke, that is actually a heavily transparent, stretched out image of Zordon's face. You can see the mouth kind of moving a little
I
bit.
was going to go with saran wrap, so.
That's how I created that effect.
Saran wrap's how we created the
So I created the blue mix.
And plexiglass.
So yeah, this is the spirit of Zordon, which we communicated with back in 1990. In episode 97. That is slowly fading away after the big battle, and so he's gone into Database's subconscious to try and bring him out of all this. This is also just a whole scene that I
Wow, the
built.
stream is really delicious.
It really ended up coming out looking really nice. Initially, I was just going to have it all be in black in darkness, but the blue mist, I felt I needed to kind of properly blend Zordon's face, and then I laid it onto myself. I'm like, oh, I like this. I'm going to use this for the whole thing. Yeah.
I would have never noticed that was moving or that there was space. It just looked
Jake
like
really be
fog.
like, I can turn stock footage into anything.
Yes.
I mean, Power Rangers really be like.
I mean, the hiatus. You know how I do the hiatus background, like the twirling red and black.
Noise?
No, the red and black void.
Uh-huh.
I didn't know. You didn't know what I created that from?
No.
I searched for stock footage of worms.
What?
I used stock footage of worms, and I just ramped up the contrast, twisted around, layered it on top of itself a bunch of different ways until it just looks like a dark, twisting red nether. I also really happy with how this effect came out. The blue hand. The blue hand, I love. Like, that's like a straight up. But also, doesn't that look so much like a Dr. Manhattan hand?
It does look like a Dr. Manhattan.
I was very pleased with how I
It
got
also looks like the birth of Adam.
I was
I just felt
that's
like
my age.
I nailed the coloration and the glow on that so well.
So what's happening now? The tears appear to be healing, but there are 3 gateways still open. Our world, your world,
And I
and
realized I totally forgot to give myself my eyes there.
What do you mean?
We'll go with me still being depleted from everything.
I'm just sorry it took so long.
Yeah.
Triumphant. They charge into battle.
I get phone now.
Yeah.
Thanks for promising me that. All serious.
Well, you've been trying to. Your home is in a different dimension. It's taken a while. You
No,
visited
I'm
it
just saying
recently.
that's why
All it takes is
she's all choked up.
Yeah.
All it takes is an interdimensional tunnel. I mean, isn't that like
Well, we had an episode where Dr. K did get to go home briefly, but didn't realize that she made it there,
You know,
and then
slider style.
and then she snapped back. And that was just one of the most heartbreaking episodes of the entire series. Also, like, there's more pop snares. That group hug was also just, obviously filmed in multiple stages because I can't squeeze in a proper group hug with both of your characters.
Lady
I know.
Byron Goldar, Rangers stand tall.
And also, I don't think we were able to get Dr. C and more popular on the same day.
Yeah.
So they decide to take the gloves off, literally. And
Also,
We had
I
David
just,
more
I
popular.
just had so much to analyze about this episode in particular.
I feel like
Like,
there's so much in it.
There's just so much to talk about, and it's been part of the public consciousness for for so long that I've had so much time to think about all the different things.
Is that actually Chris, or is that your shoulder?
No, that's my shoulder.
Yeah.
If you can't see his face, it's me.
If you can't see anyone's face, it's Jake. You know how many times it looks like Dave's shoulder is Jake?
Yeah,
A lot.
Dave's jacket just lives in the studio.
yeah.
This would just be funny if in all of the
I
credits.
just love that one time that I had to knock out an alphabet soup agent, and I did a split screen where I was standing next to a dumpster, and then the other thing was just feet sticking out of the dumpster, and those were my feet.
Well, I guess that's not the worst.
Also, this little technobabble discussion is heavily explaining a lot of the stuff that happened in later Power Rangers, specifically at the time I was writing it, Dino Charge and Ninja Steel. This was explicitly addressing the fact that Dino Charge is in a separate universe and that they have dinosaurs in that universe. And I gave an in-universe reason for why the comedic side characters in later seasons have such cartoonish effects laid on them when they're doing their slapstick. And it's literally that physics was made more flexible as a result of our actions with the multiverse.
There's still one ranger that has her concern.
I know
When
you
all
don't
else
want
fails,
to hear it, but she
Exactly.
needs to be
You guys done with your plate? So
Uh,
if you're not going back for seconds, go back for
you
seconds.
can have a second slice.
She has no family.
And you're not required to put banana on.
Oh, and here we got Betsy.
Hey!
Oh,
Love you.
jeez.
We are sorry for your losses.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen myself in any character anywhere.
Hey, I hate
Yeah.
to say this, but
You kidnapped me when I was 4 years old. I mean, not you. You kidnapped my alternate universe when I was 4 years old, and alternate universe kidnapped me when I was 4 years old.
Why do I always feel bad?
After all she's been through, after all
I mean,
What
I
you
do-
kidnapped is the one that wears
she
goth
deserves
clothes.
a way.
Oh, no, I'm
We
just
haven't seen
talking
her
about
yet.
just here. I mean, it's just about
In
everything
general,
I
yeah.
do. I play the bad
You're
guy.
They like
typecast.
to challenge you.
Yeah.
They want you to play against your personality.
Yeah, like Jenny.
Oh, and yeah, Simeon, that was specifically calling out
There you
Victor and Monty
He's a
and then Meg.
really stand-up guy, but
I
he's
thought
always
he's
playing,
actually about 6 foot tall.
and he's always playing total. That's the one you kidnapped, the red and the goth clothes.
No, that's the one you tried to kidnap.
Right,
But you traveled back in time and
and
stopped
stopped
her.
her.
Your alternate universe version
Did
kidnapped
kidnap me.
the first
Well,
K character.
yeah. There's 3 of me in this film.
Alright, so I know there's lots of you. There's
As recurring characters in the show.
one of me
There's just
One of you.
one of you in the actual
messing
show.
with her.
Yeah. However, there is
There is an alternate universe you that is not in this at all.
but
Who's
is
responsible
canon
for a lot
to the
of
TV
things
show.
that happened to the one in the White House.
So I'm
Which is
getting
why when you-
blamed for stuff.
And that's why you said I know it wasn't really me, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because you did try to do the same thing to God me. I just happened to stop.
Yeah.
So both
And
of
so
you
the Mighty
tried to do the
Morphin
same
Power
I
thing.
like how you just referred to K Alpha as God me.
I'm not going to make her remember the character name.
I know.
Just
Yeah.
tell
No,
me
I
what
And here
the
we
name
go.
is.
Me wrapping everything up. Also, I love that.
This is one
I love that we came up with a good
not because it's a
name
bad
for K Alpha at the end.
or from.
And that it worked within a throwback to episode 91. Because here was a thing
After all, this
with
is the
what?
Dave's going to leave tonight with a whole box of stuff like you just get out of prison.
Oh my goodness! I still need to give you back your sweater. I need to put that.
Swear. Somebody crickets, wow.
The list just gets longer and longer and
Because
longer.
the black sweater that I wear under the Phantom armor, I borrowed from you.
That's Dave's sweater?
That's Dave's sweater. That's
You
Dave's
didn't make a
sweater.
leather jacket yet.
Not yet.
Okay,
Just-
okay, roll leather jacket, sweater.
Jump jack.
Thank you, Dave. Oh, your glasses.
Oh,
You may have
man.
noticed he's not wearing guy's glasses.
But yeah, this right here is the most ridiculously detailed breakdown that I do of any episode of the entire series. You know how we're like 25 minutes into this thing? I'm about to go off on the history of the episode that we were discussing for the next like 15 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Power Rangers episode.
This is the
So
most
now would be a great time to
in-depth,
take questions.
in-depth that
There was no such thing.
Um,
Is there going to be a quiz?
I'm just saying we don't have much trivia to go on because it's just going to be standing in front of the white wall.
Yet we still open with
Or clips of the show.
But yeah, I will admit I was a little nervous to spend this much time on episode analysis in a video where I'm trying to wrap up so many different things storyline-wise. But I'm like, you know what? This is the final episode, and I know what my audience is here for. They want me to get into the super granular stuff about this episode of Power Rangers in particular. For this episode, this is what I'm going to give the audience what they want, and I'm not going to leave. I'm going to put it out I'm going to put it out on the field. And in truth, I was not going to go as in depth as I did until my friend Seamus Kelly on Den of Geek posted an article regarding the development of this episode where I'm like, oh, now I need to address that. And that just opened up a whole thing about,
A whole nother stock footage of worms?
yeah, because, well, what,
Sorry.
what I'm talking about here is the combination of how this episode not only addressed a ton of stuff for setting up the standard of what Power Rangers is going to be, because Power Rangers is a weird show, and this episode managed to give you all the weirdness up front in a surprisingly well-structured fashion. It's downright impressive. And then the other thing that I then start to explore based off what my friend's article was about is how that actually came to be and how that was developed and how it went through a ton of different iterations. And that ends up tying thematically into what this whole video is about, which is how every ending is actually a new beginning, and every beginning is actually the ending of a story you didn't even know was being told.
How many episodes did you do?
100.
This was 100.
And now 100 creative commentaries as well.
Yeah, this is our 100th live stream creator
Most of
commentary.
them are just good.
Yes.
I sat in for one or two, Dave was there for one, Yak sat in for one.
Also, Rocky
I
Horror
just
was
saw Rocky Horror.
Rocky Horror was the one little other thing like
Everybody was saying their own names, so they added the part where
So
everybody was saying each other's names.
all the characters are
So they brought in
Jason, Kimberly, Trini, Rocky.
Gotcha.
It felt
And I like
appropriate.
that. I wish I could watch it. I like that.
So obviously we've talked over a lot of this. Feel free to watch it again later when we're not talking over everything and see how well it
I was going to say, if you're watching now, it's not because you're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the audience in the chat has already seen the episode.
Yes. They want to see us talk about how this all came to be.
But they are also
Here we go.
hard work and training.
But yeah, this,
Strong.
because,
But they use
you know, this is the first episode of Power Rangers. Obviously, people have talked about it
These people are good friends.
for like the last 30 years.
Contribute to
So I wanted to make sure that I was giving something that was comprehensive and putting a new perspective on that analysis, which is difficult, but considering that Power Reviews has been just kind of a very outside-the-box kind of show throughout its entire run, I committed to it, and this whole bit, this is all, I'm using a teleprompter for all this, because like I could not, I'm at the end of this, I could try and memorize this, but I'm so tired.
Yeah, this is the kind of stuff that you were filming after BB was born.
This whole thing was filmed right there, right against this wall right here,
Yeah.
because this was,
There's no other white walls in this whole building. It has to be this room.
and this was filmed, when did I film this? I filmed this right before the school year started.
Yep.
This was the
Because
week,
filming up here with the two children
Yeah,
almost
this
impossible.
was the week that I started my orientation at the new job. And then we had Thursday and Friday off, so when I was off, we still had the kids in daycare.
Because you had orientation.
So I actually, but because I wanted to make sure the lighting was right, and we have this, and you can't see it here, but we have a picture window in the living room. I brought in the set.
The corridor.
I brought in the walls. and created my own little space so I wouldn't get the echo, so I wouldn't get the extraneous lighting. I had the umbrella lights in there. I built a little studio in here just for that day. So you see that shadow? You see that little
And I
shadow?
broke it down before I got the kids on the day.
That's what I was
Now,
gonna ask.
originally the shadow, there would be a shadow in the early episodes.
Okay.
The shadow in the early episodes was because I filmed in our bedroom, and that was MJ's dresser casting a shadow. That shadow this time is the arm of this couch.
Okay.
And actually, I forgot what the first one was.
Like I feel like I didn't go back and double check, but I feel like it was a pretty good match. And that shadow wasn't there in every early episode, but like,
The early part of this
but like
show
after I
was
filmed this
filmed
and realized
in
that
a
shadow was
one
there, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with this actually working again.
Well, it almost looked like you were doing
a green screen like in our living room.
Yeah.
We had to roll it up to watch TV, and
I
we
don't
could
think
pull
I
it
ever
back down.
saw that one.
No,
No,
you
I-
came in after that.
Which one?
The one about
Superman.
No, you were there for Quick Defense. You were there for when we first introduced the character in the one bedroom part. Yeah.
I swear I only flew on board with them in 2 bedrooms.
No, because you came in for the dream sequence in episode 68 where you filmed in front of the black sheep with Patrick. You came with Patrick in the first one, and then we filmed.
Alright, I'll have
Yeah.
to trust you.
I am
Yeah,
Database
Quick Defense
Ranger.
was filmed in our one-bedroom apartment in the living room. The set was totally blocking the ability of anyone to
But no,
capture
Simeon, I did not actually overlay those shadows to check. I'm just going off of. There was a shadow in there. I'm going to use the excuse that there had been a shadow there in previous iterations.
Alright, I think I remember that.
Alongside the 1978 Spider-Man series. Sadly, HBO passed on the idea, and no one else was.
But yeah,
However, this means that
yeah, there's like a version of reality out there where Power Rangers was actually created by Stan Lee for HBO, which is just wild.
I have already seen more of Power Rangers than I ever have in my entire previous.
I'm sorry, did that's a really crazy Pisces.
That's from the Bioman footage. Bioman was the first Sentai that Heimsbound tried to adapt, and he created a little mini pilot for that he shopped around for years.
That's a Billy Cranston Pisces.
They used those same names for the
But
actual
they
original.
never actually said Billy's last name until.
I know, until like once and always, which is wild, right?
They never really.
Right.
Like it just didn't come up.
But it was out there. It was in like
We all knew.
here and there.
Yeah, it was in like supplementary material.
It wasn't in like credits.
No.
No, wait, no. It might have come up in Zeo. I forget exactly how the name.
But
of the
Zeo
series
is still
first
quite a
was
ways
used.
in.
I would need to
We had
double
that
check.
before that.
The original premiere of the Power Rangers franchise went through 3 different iterations as well. The original pilot would eventually air in 1999 as part of the Power Rangers Lost.
Had to talk about the lost episode.
Presented by Austin St. John and Walter Mitchell.
Like
Austin St. John really not aged well.
And it is.
he's
Not old well. I mean,
he's had some problems as a person.
Trinity is played by
Yeah.
Audrey Hepburn.
He's also
he made some shirts with Hitler quotes.
no, he didn't actually make them. He just pitched them, and then everyone's like, "Don't do that." He's like, "I wasn't actually going to do that. I was just using it as an example."
Yeah, okay.
But
And
also-
that is some Animorphs BS right there.
Oh yeah, the lost episode. You gotta love those lost episode effects. They're amazing.
Also not what premiered in 1999.
Like the teleportation effect of just being stretched out into the sky.
But in Oliver's
Definitely the first version that came out, you know, the color.
I really love that I was able to use that I was able to use material other than Seamus's article to still convey the same point. Because it wouldn't make sense in universe for that article to have been available to database at that time. Because this is supposed to be 2016 for him, which is 8 years before Seamus's article would come out. But
interestingly though,
prior to 2016, the pieces were there. Everything that I show is stuff that was available to fans prior to 2016. Because they were available due to producer Tony Oliver showing things at convention.
The entire scene of Bulma Skull crashing Billy's first ride. was actually
is.
pulled from
And the
with the
Hun, did you have some banana on yours?
I did.
It's delicious, right?
Bridget,
You get that nice little sweetness.
so
But
Um,
will you now go
not
home?
only was this
Your
episode a
home.
culmination
You can go home and make this for your children.
Someday I might, but I don't know if I'll be able to
Yeah.
convince everyone. Usually they'll just like plain pizza or like
But
a
the
veggie pizza
original
from a place we like.
Oh,
Have
how
you
did I
tried
find?
simply putting it in front of them and,
Oh,
or see if they'll eat it, or do they analyze it?
Simeon, I found the Bioman footage on YouTube. It's available on YouTube. I know that the Morphin Museum has been posting things on and off, so they've got some great stuff out there. The entire pilot is not
In the
available,
live stream.
but the
I just wanna see
credits
chat.
for the pilot have been one. Shout out to Morphology for having this breakdown on their website. Me breaking down every single episode that was used to make this. That's 26 different episodes of Japanese footage that was used to make this one episode of Power Rangers.
They never got that.
In
kind of-
1993.
Did that.
No, well, produced in 1992,
I
really.
think it was in the History Channel.
And that's just
insane
insane.
for this episode, and astoundingly efficient introduction to
Development
a myriad
of
different
Power
characters and
Rangers
elements.
and
But
how
the
they
final
did it
edit is an
and why they
astonishing
did it. It's
mosaic
really kind
of
of a neat
literally
little,
half
you
the
know,
episodes of
that and the
Rangers'
Ninja
entire
and the
run,
Turtles. The two
spanning from the beginning to
Ninja
nearly the end
Turtles.
and then some. And
Um,
anyway, there are much to here. Because, of course,
He tried. That's why I closed the box.
Wow.
yet surprisingly,
Sorry, buddy.
I don't know if you can see Frankie trying to get in there.
Yeah, I believe he is in fact on camera this time. He's not allowed table scraps. He has a kidney problem.
Yeah,
You only
he's
eat your
getting
prescription food.
Specifically due to complications
But,
that are most evident in the
Hey, we
water.
got him the wet stuff. It's Cadillac.
But yeah, I'd always known about those shots with the where you can see the costume change. But I hadn't really noticed the communicator on Billy's wrist in that shot until James pointed it out. And and I probably should have, because I mean,
No, you don't.
what was that? Oh yeah.
What was that? Was quoting on the fourth wall nod there?
Is this where smoke
Yeah.
should be pouring out of Jake's ears?
He was just basically saying, I've got a self-editing robot. Imagine how much trouble it would take into the
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Really pays off in the final product.
Yeah.
I love this movie so much as a plot device. It's so incredibly useful. We have a plot device. Okay, so you remember how we said in universe, my character had borrowed his character's camera?
Yes.
So-
my character turned into a floating invisible camera.
So that's how we're able to see everything that happens in the show. Is
And
that
there are three of them.
there's a floating invisible camera that follows us throughout everything, creating the show automatically.
And it's ending live in camera.
Being the first one to start
Sure.
showing ways and with
So I have
And it's with 3PO.
So I have an in-universe reason
It's
that this
RT-Sweet
review show features all of these adventures.
Wait, are there four?
Yeah, there's a fourth one.
What was the fourth one called?
I think
Aren't the Sweet Tooth?
I-
3PO.
I don't know if I ever explicitly gave it a name in universe, but I always wanted to call it the Sweet Girl.
quickly and
Sweet
confidently
you and Sweet for me.
I forget if I ever worked that into the show.
Instead,
Super sweet, extraordinary.
acrobatics and combat skills
Sure.
New squeeze were invented whenever we had a situation
until they
where
eventually end up
You couldn't explain something.
the cast was splitting up and we needed to have one camera with each group.
Yeah. So I made sure that there were four.
So
that
do
were
they
broken.
self-replicate or do they?
No, they-
No!
Each one is developed by one of MJ's characters.
For why?
Because otherwise they could still be out there floating among
Oh, the sweet could still be out there. There were four of them.
It's really only in the reverse.
But again, in this
They-
day and
I will admit that is something that I don't actually end up addressing in this finale, the fate of the four different squeeds where they each hang out. It is implied that they go. Keep in mind though, in the finale we do end up with four different paths. Like, not quite four different universes, but four different paths. We see, as we'll see after this analysis is
I
done.
mean, since the show is going the way it is, one of them must have gone with y'all. One of them came with us. One of them went with Tid and
And more
back
There you go.
boats with their cameras.
So all four squeeze do end up somewhere.
Airheaded, but well-meaning. When she accidentally drops
But
It's
do
just
the
not-
people who they
it's-
went with know they're there since they're invisible?
The only one who would know, I would say that.
I would say that Mayo and Kay would both know if there's a squid with them.
Yeah.
Because they're alternate
Well-
universe counterparts of people who invented them.
Yeah, Kay would probably be aware of it.
DB would be aware.
DB would be
he's a
aware
technopath.
with it because he's connected to them.
Guy might not know about the one.
Guy might not know about it.
And I don't think it will.
No, Guy does know about it because he tells your character about it.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know they're there.
Yeah.
We
Um,
mention them, but the one that goes into the universe, he still knows there.
Well, he must because he
Because he
needs
tap
it.
into it.
Because he needs it for.
Yeah,
his
you're going to
basement.
use it to
Yeah.
blackmail. You're going to
Yeah.
use the footage from it to blackmail her.
Yeah, because we shot a scene with you where we tell you about the invisible camera.
Yeah, the one where he says
You'll
you're
see that
really
scene a
watching
little
the show.
Yeah.
So the only ones who might not know about it would be the more
Also, I'm
popular
really
kids.
amused how many times I use these exact same clips of this opening scene over and over and over. Because I have so much to say about it. It's insane how much I have to say about that scene. Like, I had to reuse so much footage from Day of the Dumpster because I spent so much time
That was
talking
the
about it.
line.
Remarkably well. Perfectly conveying the charm and ingenuity that would come to the
But yes, I had so much fun with acronyms in this show.
But beyond
Squeeze stands for
its
Selective
success
Quantum
stands as a
Utility
towering
Electronic Island.
achievement in
Yeah.
storytelling
Yeah.
and a testament to the fact that the
Wireless
hero story
interdimensional interface.
is not
That's the
really
lead.
where it all
Yeah.
starts.
There's also the wireless interdimensional
Where the
interface
audience
portal
got
alignment device.
going in.
We've had.
There's always something that came before.
One of
And-
my characters
oh.
is always insisting on the long form, and the other one is always
You
insisting on
might
the
not
short form.
uncover until years down the line. Sometimes not even
And
until
let's not forget the laser optic lineation cerebral array transceiver.
Lolcat.
the ending.
Because those were big at the time.
Your
Lolcats were a thing at the time.
actually,
Remember
your
lolcats?
character was introduced
Via the lolcat.
via the lolcats.
Do you realize that you probably filmed maybe 2 minutes of me about once every 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I know.
And now I don't remember.
I know.
That's why we're telling you.
That's you're like. That's one of the reasons I'm like, you know what? It's gonna be really fun to have Betsy here and explain like what this has been. All right, and now
Now we're all saying
the
goodbye.
analysis is done, and we're now reflecting back on everyone saying goodbye.
Because we have to split up the cast now. And everybody has to go.
I
to their
play
house
around
after.
with
I've already gone.
narrative structure so much in this show.
Oh, I go there. I did.
One I was
Yes, so that
talking
you can
Oh, I
blackmail.
love them.
Yeah.
But
You
you
deserve
know,
it.
You're not
You
getting it
deserve
out there.
but remember, Dave and I would never.
And then
film
this,
on the
I
same
had
day,
to
same
make
Oh!
sure to acknowledge.
Jake, is that true?
No. You filmed once.
One day we were
Once.
How
here at
many
the same
years
time.
ago?
It was for this episode, so it was last year.
That was the last time we were both here.
Sorry, that was me. That is not.
That nail was already in the wall when we
There
moved
is
in.
not a nail there.
Oh, there's not a nail.
I was
There's
just
no
propping
nail.
it up there.
I'm just saying, if there is a nail, it was already in the wall. We
Because
didn't nail
we're about
anything today.
That is the one time
We were in
you
screen
filmed
screen
together.
Now I remember.
Where I'm standing in for Marty in the cryo chamber.
Yes. That I remember because I had to keep adjusting you.
Yes, because yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Now, unfortunately, because I had to be able to see things,
I see this viewfinder.
you can
Oh,
see the
no.
reflection of the viewfinder there.
It's reflected in the camera.
You can see the camera
It was
there.
the camera,
And
okay.
it's just like and there was nothing to do about it.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you're a one-man production team.
Uh-huh.
Like I will admit, I meant to blur that out at some point, and I just never got around to it because I wasn't going to be able to do it without creating other issues, and I forgot.
I'm just amused that
This, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna go with. Here's what I'm gonna go with.
No, you're not.
That particular crystallization of the cryogenic chamber creates a distortion of light that brings you just properly to face be able to see the squeak. There's our squeak guest appearance. There we go. I have an explanation for everything in this show. It is unreasonable.
Jake is really the king of the not sending me an explanation.
Yeah.
I'm just amused
I mean,
that
half
for
of this
most
show
of
is
us,
just
the
lots of an
glasses were like
explanation for
3 or 4
potholes
glasses
and
ago.
Yeah, I know.
In filming these,
That's
it's
me.
switching out the
Hugging,
glasses.
Peggy.
No,
wearing
that's
my
not
wig.
Peggy.
No.
Peggy wasn't here for this.
Who's
Is
here?
that you and me?
That
No,
was shit.
that is a pillow and a wig head.
Wig head.
Oh my god.
There is another case.
That is this pillow right here, one of these.
And a wig head.
And a wig head. These are the shoulders.
Okay, then which one was the one where I had Peggy?
91.
91 I had Peggy wearing my wig.
When there was the whole thing of
My name.
Oh, that one.
That's fair, I guess.
I love this. I have no idea what that
I
is.
acted cross for myself far too often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took
a while to get there. It's
Did DB catch Mayo up on Power Rangers? You know what? Like, those two are sailing.
They
They're
have
like,
plenty of time to
they'll
do
have
that later.
plenty of time to talk about all the Power Rangers.
yes. The
The
high-tech
door.
doors.
Okay, that door is always operated by one of us standing behind it.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Much like the Star Trek doors.
Yeah.
The Star Trek doors at least had a pulley and a rope.
This is just
And
always a
it's
person.
still slammed on people. You really have to go see Star
But
Trek.
yeah, but Betsy, you saw yourself earlier looking around for the invisible camera.
There it
Yes. Yes. Can we go back and reshoot that?
You have no idea how much I was. Our final shot.
That's
That
the last thing.
that was our final shot with Justin and Sarah.
She was not there that day.
She wasn't even. Yeah, that's not even filmed in the same location.
And this is when everybody from this all went to. She does not live here anymore.
This was. She sent me that like 2 weeks before this episode went live from Florida.
She had to go find a brick
She had to go find a brick wall. You can tell it's not the same brick wall. And also, I altered the color to get her hair to match what it was in the previous bit, and to get the brick to match the shape. Like, I've also created an effect to create the sense that there's a light above her. There's not. The two different colorations, that was actually me carving a semicircle and have one bit
All
darker
of
than the
your
other.
minions are going to.
This was green screen. That was from
They went for pizza without me.
that right. That well, you're on trial.
Yeah, they're not minions
But they're my
anymore.
minions.
Yeah, that's why it's a work release. It's
Because
that's
they're
why,
on work release.
yeah. The joke is this a work party? More of a work release party.
Everybody else gets to go out and party, and I
Yeah.
Well, excuse me, but some of them are probably not under arrest. Like our Alpha is Dr.
Yeah.
C, who defected.
And there's the Thrilly Gorilla Pizza that we were just eating.
Yep.
With
Now
the
this
banana.
is actually the backside of our current abode.
Yes.
Standing in for a brick wall at our alma mater
Yes.
because we built most of our exteriors over at our alma mater.
Most
Yes.
people will just see brick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why we're telling people to chat.
Yes.
That's the whole point of the commentary.
I like all caps.
Did you find?
Happy anniversary.
Well-
More of the pizza.
We ended up making it to year 4 after.
Okay, so what was Dr. K's last name in the series? That is a good
I'm not
question.
telling because it's actually a plot point of the fanfic that I still haven't finished writing. But if anybody's been reading the fanfic I wrote that I believe is called Alphabet Soup because it's got 26 chapters that are all lettered but not in order.
Yes.
The last chapter is K is 4 and I'll tell you.
But also, within the context of this series, I felt like that is
I stopped writing
is
because my beta
Dr.
was
K's secret to share. I felt like that wasn't a secret that the audience needed to know. I felt like that was one.
But in my head, it's
that
the one
had-
that's in my fanfic.
Yeah, me too. But I felt like it's one of those things where certain things shouldn't be said out loud. I felt like K's real name was one of them.
Sir and Madam Director are also
Well,
both left
guess
out,
it better get going.
which is why we used them so much in this.
Also, yeah, loving that I had to
Now, is
bring
that a
back the
fellow or-
alphabet
No, that's
citations being in love with My Little Pony.
We had to film that in a very specific time of day in order to get the right lighting.
Yeah. And we it took a while for us to get a good day for it.
And I think I was pregnant.
Probably.
And RJ was with my parents
Yes, I believe so.
for the afternoon.
Um,
So So we
Oh,
had to
oh,
really.
wait.
The planets
Oh,
have
Oh
to
no,
go
they might
on.
have been. RJ might have been taking a nap during this.
Did we do this?
This
Okay.
was during the summer.
So we had to cram this into RJ's nap time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Be my friend.
I love
Oh, you
that.
can kind of see my giant ear holes because the wind is blowing
I love
the
this
wig out of the
goodbye.
I
way.
didn't notice.
I love this goodbye.
I don't
It's
wear
such a
the
sweet
earrings this
goodbye.
Kenny.
No, I get that, but I didn't.
I love these two characters so
Notice.
much together.
And
They're
then this is
And then we
obviously completely
transition
different brick.
Composite, yeah.
This is where we're
yeah,
at,
just cutting.
We're-
not
we're
even
back at our
composite,
alma
just cutting
mater.
away.
filming at the
Oh.
exteriors.
And then-
this was filmed
That
with RJ
that sign.
on Jake's back
Yes.
in a baby carrier.
Yes. But also that sign. Oh, that portrait doesn't actually exist. I was editing
That's
that
this
in.
frame picture with that put over it.
Yeah.
Because we
I'm
filmed it on
so
that wall
pleased with
behind
how
you.
well that came out. That looks great.
Didn't I film with her once?
Yes, for Power Rangers Great
The
Defense.
time you filmed in the first department.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is a little cameo connecting this to that project.
Okay.
And I actually had to composite in that little sign for the
This
orphanage.
part got me misty on the first watch through
Yeah.
because I was not aware of this part.
Figuring
This
out
is the part where he's saying goodbye to the audience
You
with
have
him
all-
through this.
so much more than you can ever.
But yeah, you can actually hear RJ a little bit in the background, I think, when you're running into the orphanage.
Thank you.
Well, that makes sense.
They're just doing like a little giggle.
Together we did that, and I can't.
Actually, a little bit great detail.
And then this is just my final thank you to the audience.
But beyond all that, thank you for just being there.
And I
I told you
To
they misty.
listen to me talk about something that is
and
meant
honestly, I'm one thing I'm proud of with this among just how it
to
came
be
out.
able to
is-
talk about power.
This was one take.
To be able to talk about something that
I did this in one take
free
with the
and
new
know
telephone.
that someone out there was listening and
And
wanting
I'm
to hear
so
more.
pleased this came out as well as it did on the
I
first
hope
take.
that every single one
Because I knew I couldn't film.
gets a chance.
I knew I couldn't squeeze in enough time to film things 5 times over.
And the people,
Yeah, because this was
And
during
how-
that one day that
and why
RJ was daycare.
though
He set up the studio,
are the
did all this and broke it down.
that's fine. Even when
Actually, at this point, it was RJ and DD.
the television show. Because it's never
I-
just a television show. It's something that you love. And it's something that was made
I knew that I needed to really.
and dedication. And you
I needed to hit this
hard work
moment.
and trying and failing and getting up and trying again. And countless people making countless
Because
sacrifices.
I knew I
that
got
you'll
a big
never
one
know
Thank you,
the
Dave.
stories of.
about.
He said countless people making countless
Oh.
sacrifices. Thank you, Dave. Also, thank you.
And thank
But
you.
you were talking more about this.
This franchise
You lived it.
Yeah,
out of a desire for a profit.
and
That is
this is also just me coming from
it was cheap.
my perspective now as
Production
you know.
was rampant.
A grown person who knows what Hans Evolved is up to.
like I feel I'm so much more. I've made so many efforts. to be so
Look,
much
I was a
more
Harry
visual.
Potter fan,
I know back when this started.
so I know all about your favorite creator's disappointment.
At the moment, it's not doing
I
that.
was gonna say was a Harry Potter.
You
I
know,
still enjoy the media, but
J.K. Rowling.
Oh, I know. Yes, good point. I don't think. To me, that's totally separate. I don't.
I can't in
They're-
good conscience
different.
consume the media knowing the money goes for it.
They,
Yeah.
they are. I don't.
So like I
even-
still enjoy what I already own, but I cannot pay for anything more from that universe. No merchandise, no anything.
So many
Other
But-
stories
She's not getting
are
another dime
out
on
there
my
too.
money.
But
Yeah.
I wanted to address the complicated relationship with
so many other
Um,
things. And
with Power Rangers and with
that doesn't make us any
how
less worthy of love.
how exploitative so
I mean,
much
I wouldn't buy
mindset
merch there,
stuff
but
was.
this is
And
one
I felt like I couldn't end the show without addressing that in some way.
And we decided
And
for
figuring out-
ourselves.
And I need to kind of unpack that for myself to a degree.
Yes.
Love Power Rangers.
Like,
It makes me want to fight the
I
evils
know.
that make Power
and
Rangers.
that's kind of the core of it. Loving Power Rangers makes me want to fight the evils that make Power Rangers
Who I am.
And that's something that I feel can work on multiple levels. Like in universe, yeah, the Power Rangers exist because there's evil to fight. But
But
out
also
of
we
that,
need to eat the rich, and that includes Hans Evolved.
yeah, out of universe, like Power Rangers was created
As a money grab for a rich guy.
as a money grab from rich guys, but it's also place, and now I'm like, okay, I want to work to help create a world that no longer has the systems that made Power Rangers possible, but I'm inspired to do that by Power Rangers. And that is a complex, series of emotions.
I mean, that's
And this is filmed 8 years before that.
Me opening the door is an 8-year-old shot, and this one is just from this year.
And I feel like a lot of people are fighting with
That's
that.
the door to the old apartment.
So I struggle
The hallway inside the apartment building.
And that one bit,
We filmed this on the night that we moved out.
You
At
can
like
also-
3
you can
in the
probably-
morning.
you could probably tell from my hairline that this was 8 years, 8 years apart.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, this is
And I
actually
actually did live in
saying
26K.
goodbye to the apartment.
But look, because we moved out, we were able to do these fades from.
That you wouldn't have been able to do any other way.
Countless stories.
And then this was a nice little,
That was, and this is the part that where we came back 7 years later and filmed in the parking lot.
and we had to acknowledge the Saggers coming along for the ride.
That's an empty cat carrier. We did not torture Frankie like
I'm,
that.
I'm pleased with how the spaceship came out, the effects came out. This shot could have been a little bit stronger with the climbing up the ladder. I could have done the lighting a little bit better. I was just kind of rushing it a little bit at the end there. I feel like the shadow came out pretty well.
It did.
With the smoke, I think we did.
And we had
There
to
we
film
go.
this
May the
again
power
on a very
protect you
specific day too
always.
because we needed it to look like
And
the
the
right
little-
season. We needed the leaves to be off the trees.
Yep.
And we needed it to be
It needs
that
to be
sunset.
October. Yeah, I know. All of it is me. And then Rocky Harbors is apparently belonging to Disney, I think, right now. And then I had to show this, like, beginning and end,
Yeah.
and just seeing how much things have changed.
Okay, that's very Babylon 5.
Yeah. And then people seem to really like the fact that I did a beginning and end there too.
And there's
It's a nice kind of.
I tried to do first, as close as I could to first appearance and last appearance.
It's more like you double people up.
Yeah. there's Mike, there's John. That shot took so many years. Like there's so many different shots here. Hey, there's Simeon right there. There's Betsy saying hi to Yash.
It's fun.
And then there's everybody floating
how many
around.
people you know.
I knew got into this.
And I had to give a shout out to
Yeah.
Jay,
Jay,
who
who did the
played
voice of the week.
all of us as the
All
different
the
little darklings.
So this is basically he's crediting all of the people who played the little gremlins with the masks on.
Yeah.
Which is all of us all over again.
Yeah.
We did our own stunts and some.
There's Sean of Orange Ring Reviews, and I felt like I should include myself just because I was
Yeah,
including so many other people several times
Megan and
over.
her daughter were in this.
And there's Frankie.
Although it occurs to me that you did not credit the other little K.
Because I was only crediting the people who appeared in year 3.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I didn't.
Other
But
little
other
K
little K only appeared in year 2.
because she grew up.
Yes. There's James. Yeah, these were all the different Ranger fans from the Power Morphin Power episode.
Well, because this was all one
Yeah,
episode.
that's
Are you kidding me?
episode 87.
Wow.
Year 3 took 7 years to make.
Yeah. Wow.
And then I have all the different Ranger fans who appeared in episode 99.
Yeah, everybody who sent in their cameo for the I Believe in Fairies.
Yeah. Like there's
That was
just
the episode
there's
before
Simeon
this
again.
Excellent.
There's Sean, it's actually Azzy who helped out with editing for the first chunk of year 3 before they had to bow out. And
Okay.
then
A bit more,
our
a little more smiling and protective. Okay?
Jake stuck that piece of paper in the lighting fixture.
yeah,
Every
yeah, I
time he
did.
filmed that.
Yes. Spoilers. Oh.
I love that shot.
For the car, I love the car.
Roger.
Green screen someplace.
Welcome to our home there. Sorry, then. Welcome to our home. Yes, okay.
is the end of Power Reviews. Let me go
Over.
back to us being full screen again here.
Full screen.
There we go.
Oh, we're all full screen now.
There we go. Oh my goodness. So how is that as your introduction to Power Reviews?
I have absolutely no idea what was going on.
Oh wait, no, I didn't do that. Right? I didn't do that right. Wait. And that's the end of it. So,
Yes, Simeon,
what did you
didn't
think?
finish your show before I finished my fanfic because my beta reader was too busy to beta read.
Don't. No. Nice.
Okay. Oh,
RJ is pretty good as a nightmare.
Weird, huh?
RJ was never a nightmare.
I'm not sure what Scott makes little jokes that I don't always get. I appreciate the effort, but I do not always get. So yeah. So I don't know if anybody wants to provide any of their feedback on their thoughts of the final episode.
I enjoyed the part where you took all the agents out for pizza. I did not
That
know
was
about
nice.
that part. I was not
Really?
involved in the writing, the filming, or any of that, so that was all new to
Because
me
that was
when
all
I
on
saw it
campus.
last week. I was like,
Or that was all-
he's taking them for pizza.
I think the only bit of that was filmed here was Shelby's, because we had to film everything for Shelby here in an hour.
You know, you could have put a slice in
Because
a
she was
box
just
and said
passing.
you
Yeah.
were.
But
He was just passing through.
But Peggy, I had to drive out to her place, so that was filmed out in her farmhouse. That was again green screen.
Peggy lives over an hour away from here, closer to the private school that we lived at. That's
So-
where she joined, was when we were living at the private school.
I think Dave, after the dinner scene, could have been filmed driving out and dropping a piece of pizza off
Yeah.
of me.
But what would the car have been then?
But
A Prius!
Even the other
It's
day?
always a Prius!
we have a Prius now. Now that you've gotten rid of your Prius, now we have a Prius.
Dave held on to his Prius. So
You held on to that.
There was a point when we were finishing up trying to get a new car, and there were specific discussions with Jake. We are trading the Prius in. We are going to be
Yep.
getting a bigger car, a bigger one, and the Prius is the one that's going. So let's make sure that we've got all of the scenes that we need that are filmed inside.
And that was
the
at
Prius.
summer 2019, I believe. Because
Because it was, we filmed
No,
with the
no,
Prius
I ran,
roughly
years
the
ago.
same time we wrapped with the more Poxmans.
or wait, did we go? No, we went back to your place.
We
the
were
next
at
year.
his
That was
house.
the next
That-
year.
That's right. Oh, but that was
Or
right.
a year
We
after
got
that.
interrupted because of COVID.
Mhm.
That's
Oh,
right.
Yeah, so there's a
Everything.
while
Everything.
from 20-ish.
That's also why an
So
awful
did
lot
that
of scenes
point
that
from
would
the-
all.
Because
There
during the
were
scenes in the
times where we
finale.
would have had availability for people to be in the same
Oh
room.
yeah, I remember now.
But we
Because
didn't
were trying to
didn't
get
want
Peggy into your
Yeah.
car. We had to get Peggy into your car for $98.99.
Yeah.
That was what it was. Oh my goodness. Also,
I could just see you guys, if you had sold your car, I could see the rest of you going down to a used car lot saying,
What now we have a
test
Prius?
drive.
So it's open on the
Yeah.
weekends when no one's there.
but hun, fun fact about that
Let's go
pizza
for a test
scene.
drive.
Yeah.
Did you notice what Dave's last line is? Yeah. Well, it
What
was,
was
I
your
don't
last one, Gabe?
your,
I have no idea.
well, it was right. Well, right after you were doing your whole little toast, and it's like, and to this, to that, and Dr. C comes in to friendship. You're like, friendship. Yes. Your last line. What was your first line of the show?
Yes.
No!
Your first line of the show is no.
No. Because he knocked on your
Every
door.
line thereafter for a while.
You
was
opened
just
the door,
no.
you looked at him, you said no, and you shut the door in his face.
That was your
What?
first. So your first ever line of the show was no. Your last line of the show is yes. I go for symmetry.
There you go.
He really
That
likes his
is
bookends.
character growth
He really
summarized.
likes his bookends.
I do love bookending things.
Well, the beginning is when it's like, hey, let's get
And-
it going.
and
You just
again,
have to open the door and do no.
I try to bring as
Wait, what?
many
I'm
things
gonna go
as
get the
possible.
set up at the dinner.
And I feel like that's that right. You know, yeah. You're taking care of getting dinner down there. Okay. Yeah, 'cause it is almost 6:30 now.
Starving.
If the sitter would like a slice of pizza, that is acceptable. I'm sure she'd be down for it. But yeah, so that was something where just like as I was writing, like this is what I want. Because you, and again, you starting off as a loner, and then
Ending with a Practical found family there.
like, so, it going from, you being in deception, everything being out in the open. Your last moment, like, I was debating whether or not to bring you in on there, but I felt like your last moment of looking around for the screen was just too good of a last moment. It just felt right. Because you've also been kind of a villain for a good chunk of the show, and it felt like you needed a comeuppance, but it was like, but you,
I was always kind of...
Yeah, you were always a little bit of a gray antagonist.
And a little bit regretful.
Yeah.
Of it's like I was doing what I had to do, but I really would have been happy if we'd gone a different way.
You were always just...
looking for a punch clock villain.
A punch clock villain.
Okay, that works.
But you believed in what your character
Uh-huh.
believed in what they were doing. They felt like they were always trying to do what was actually best. But also
that
you
is
were
not a good description. A lot of evil gets done
Exactly.
that way. A lot of evil.
Exactly. And at times you do the right thing, and at times you don't. And I felt like I couldn't let you guys get away with everything and have a full redemption. But I also didn't want it to be like, I didn't want to kill you off either.
I still think I deserved a slice of pizza at the end. Even if it was
That's fair.
delivered.
That is fair.
Of course, we've had to come up with some sort of set for the prison, so it's probably...
Also, I think part of it was also just that once Marty bowed out, the thing I was considering was if I was going to have you there, I would have had you there with Marty. And since we couldn't get Marty to come back, it didn't feel right for you to have the slice without him. Because we did have him making the full recovery in the battle.
He could have phoned in an order and said, I want it delivered to cell block, whatever.
I was also, this thing was nearly an hour long already. I gave you more of a send off than a lot. I tried to see how many different alphabet soup agents I could get into that scene. And there's some people who I meant to get in touch with, and I just didn't follow up with because everything just.
Well, not only that, I mean, COVID really put the division
It did.
in things. There was stuff we're doing. I mean, I haven't done any acting since COVID. It's totally, and the same thing as you said.
Yeah.
I couldn't show up and be in the room with a lot of other people.
Right.
So, and then post-COVID, it started rolling again, and look, there's 4 of us in a room.
Exactly. Thanks to us being vaccinated and largely and being responsible in our interaction. I still wear an N95 to work every day, personally, because I'm with teenagers every day, and they're good kids, but I'm not going to be trusting teenagers to be fully responsible with their personal health habits.
Well, not only that, part of it is it's still, I just have a cold, and you don't realize.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
If I don't feel well, I'm in a mask at this point.
I'm
But
looking here
also,
and getting
the littles,
some little
a
shout
couple of
outs
weeks,
here.
I'm down.
do something.
But last week, I almost wasn't able to. I was talking with Jake before we started last week because we had been sick in my household for a
Last
week and
week,
a half.
and you weren't sure what it was at first.
Yeah, actually, I had been into urgent care and had like bronchitis a week or so before that too. But I got tested, so I came out negative. I can come over, I'll wear a mask too, but I want to make sure everyone else there is comfortable with it.
And it ended up working out better to be this weekend because it took me until Monday to actually, because we had the power outage and that interrupted the export.
Yeah,
And that would have
it
been hard
does.
for everything,
Yeah.
so this was just as well.
Yeah.
But 2 weeks before you called me, I had COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm still not sure
How?
how.
Yeah,
So,
we've been,
but
we've
you
been
guys
very
are all
fortunate in our
parents,
household.
so you get a little germ factor.
Yeah, exactly.
into-
That's the other reason I wear an N95, so nobody else is getting anything from me. But going here from the chat, we got a few people. Simeon saying thank you again for all of you for all your hard work on the show. It's been wonderful to be a part of this over the
I
years.
figured if Big
As
Sister
both
come
a
up
fan
and make
and a
food, RJ might escape into the frame.
Did you babysitter want?
Hope I can hang out with Jake and MJ someday or meet Dave and
I should also
tell him how much I enjoyed his performance as my favorite character in person.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you very much.
And then Jenny C saying Guy is my favorite character too.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, you're just a sweetie.
And then
He's just fun to play.
He is.
Originally came from.
sorry Nerdy, sorry you arrived late. But yeah, you can always watch the replay later. I think we're still gonna be chatting.
I'm gonna give RJ's plates that way if RJ gets a hold of it, we don't have a problem.
And Scott has the question of what's next, and wondering if that's the final 21 rapid run-throughs and deeper looks of Power Rangers. All right, so with regards to rapid run-throughs and deeper looks, I decided, and I know this, it's been over a year now, that instead of doing rapid run-throughs and deeper looks for those final 21 episodes, I was going to do the deeper run-throughs, where I did the live stream unscripted thoughts, because I need to get through those episodes, and I didn't feel like I could commit to scripting any more analysis. I do need to add those to the proper playlist. I keep forgetting to put those into the proper playlist. But yeah, I've done all my Power Ranger reviews that I'm doing. So I'm sorry that I didn't do the same format for the last chunk of Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury as I did for the first season and a half. But I felt like I was doing what I could there, and I need to just kind of let that
Thank you,
go.
Betsy, that was really good call.
Follow-up question for down there.
Yeah.
Jake,
With Power Reviews ending, were there any episodes you would have wanted to do, or maybe anything new that came out over the course of us filming
thank you.
that you maybe would have wanted to do had you known that?
Okay, so this is something where I always thought it might be kind of cool, but I don't think I'll ever actually do it. I always thought that if I ever wanted to do a Power Reviews movie, it would be cool to do, either
A Power Rangers movie?
the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie or Green with Evil, because that's a 5-parter, and I felt like trying to do a 5-part that would take up too many episodes of the series, unless I was doing a movie. So that's how I would have handled Green with Evil, would have been as a movie. But instead I decided that we'd have our own little Green with Evil arc, where you and I got to reenact that fight scene.
That
from
was an
Green with
exact
Evil.
cut for cut.
Yeah,
I
fight
don't know
scene. Back in
Everybody
episode.
all knows that.
That was episode 77.
Well, you probably
Yeah.
told them in the commentary for that.
Yeah, that we recreated that fight scene between Tommy and Jason from Green with Evil, shot for shot. We had to stretch
Yeah,
with our legs going up high.
I'm not very flexible. I have never done TKD or anything like that.
Yeah. Well, you did
Aikido for a little
Aikido
bit.
for a bit.
That's where all the rolls come
Yeah.
from. But yeah,
I still can't believe how many times we threw you against that wall.
that was a lot. Yeah.
Like, and you're just, and you just, I'm just like,
This is why
I
thank
kept asking
you
if
for
you were
putting up with so
done.
much of
You're
this.
just like, no, I can do some
In
more.
the face, he got thrown against walls.
Running down.
Did you enjoy it?
I mean, it was a little fun. Yeah.
Because like I always would say like we will only do as many takes as you are comfortable with, and you
And Dave
always
always
would
did
keep
so many
going.
takes.
We'll get the right take so you have something good, right?
And I'm not gonna lie, it looked great. It's that toss against the wall with T Omega throwing against the wall. That looks fantastic.
The hardest one though was one of the ones we filmed back
Yeah,
here.
it's just because we didn't have the room for it. And honestly, I felt like I didn't do it justice in my compositing and of the demons. Because it was just hard to get that low angle.
Yeah.
Because the low angle means that you're getting a bit of the ceiling if you're not careful. So like I had to film in such a way that like the tops of heads were getting cut off.
Yeah.
There are always so many technical details
It's
that you
so
don't
Aw.
see.
Jenny says, I remember having to ask you to explain momentum for my AP physics class. And now I have a college exam for principles of finance class tomorrow.
So,
Good
Jake,
luck
are
on
you
your
going
exam.
to be helping her review?
What, finance? I'm not gonna like I've got
I think it's just a matter of this was high school and now she's in college.
College, yeah.
I think I have a better than typical layman's understanding of economics in general, but
Only
not.
because you're a math person.
Yeah, because I'm a math person and because I've been having an increasing interest in general political theory.
I was just
over the
going to
course of the recent
say,
years.
as any set
I'm just
of
a dirty
parents knows, when you become a parent, you don't realize how much mathematics you do have to know.
I can't math. I still can't math.
I
terrible
love
at math.
that the landlord's
guess
final
Math,
like
there's so many
this is
different
my
maths.
grand evil plan.
You do
was a
computer
geometry
science,
lesson.
which most people consider maths.
2 points
Most
to
people
find a
Computer
line,
does the math
but
for me.
3 points
I
to
know
find a
that.
plane, an
Most
infinite
people would
plane to cut
math.
through it.
Or it's like for me.
Also, I'm just end user
Um,
support at this point. Did you reboot? You know,
And
Did you
Simeon,
plug
you
it
were
in as your
saying-
cat shoot on the cord?
You realized that we were doing what was it that you remember realizing we did in the moment and being blown away by it? Which one was it? Because I know everything's
there
kind
is
of
like a
delayed.
3 or 4 minute delay in the chat, so
Exactly.
it's going to be a while before you get that answer.
So let me know what that was referencing. And and I know we've been answering questions from the chat. I know that
Did
on
somebody email you some?
Twitter,
Okay.
because we'll never call it by any other name.
I've never had a Twitter.
It's okay, you don't need one.
Nobody needs a Twitter account.
I know
I
one of
didn't.
I know one of
My
our
Twitter account has not been used for anything. It was not DRPR related.
Yeah.
Years.
Like I said, I've never had.
Mostly just retweeting Jake's announcements that the videos are coming out.
yeah. But yeah, I know Matt Hiltner, one of our Ranger fans, had said, "Oh, I won't be here for the after party."
But he had some questions for us.
We had questions, so he dropped me 3 questions. Question number 1 was, how much of the DRPR story was pre-planned and / did I know ahead of time? And the way it was structured was, I had figured out.
I mean, the rough strokes was there from the beginning.
I figured out what the end of year 1 was going to be before the first episode premiered. And then while filming year 0, I figured out how the series would end. There were details along the way that I figured out along the way. Like, year 2, I didn't decide on doing the whole multidimensional arc for the summer saga of year 2 until near the end of year 1. Because I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do for that summer, and how that was going to be structured. And part of that was I realized that I need to get your characters some greater development. Because I knew I
We
wanted...
needed to take some levels.
Yeah, you need to level up, basically. Because
Can't say that
my
for
character was
others,
a Power Ranger, and your characters need to be able to keep up.
So I got my magic book,
You got your magic book, and you got your
High Schwab.
high SWAT pressure points from Master Gel. And it was and I realized, because I wanted to do a Green with Evil arc where I got turned evil for a few episodes, and so I decided.
I was gonna say that's.
That's not TV!
I decided that in order for that to play well, you guys need to be leveled up, and I really liked the idea of when you have a story where
Are you on Blue Sky yet?
I just haven't started it yet. Like I have an invite, I just haven't set up the account yet.
They're asking you to get on Blue Sky.
I know I gotta get on Blue Sky, and honestly, it's really just a matter of like momentum of already having been on. Yeah, like honestly, partially, I just enjoy like knowing that I am on Twitter losing Elon Musk money because he's not making any money off me doing anything, and occasionally reporting transphobes. And it's just
I'm not sure that does anything anymore.
sometimes they'll get suspended, and that's as it should be. But
No, as they should be, is lose their account entirely.
oh yeah, no, they should be account shut down. But
But some of them are really vile.
oh yeah, no, there's some terrible stuff on there.
KYS and stuff like that.
I've just been very fortunate that I only have ever followed a fairly small group of people in a particularly narrow range of interest. So
Although every
I
now
don't
and then,
tend to get
It is a
all
great
of
way to
that
find
for the
out that
most
a Power
part,
Rangers
which is great.
actor is showing their behind.
Yeah, no, it's still
Like what happened with Austin
it keeps me plugged into a number of updates in the fandom, and the people who I follow are people who I know well enough and tend to be where I want to see what they're sharing when it comes to greater social awareness, what's going on in the world, and the format of the very short tweet format has always been one I like a lot. But we were talking about how much I planned in advance.
All right.
But yeah, I wanted to make sure that you guys would be able to take on DB once he when during his stretch of being evil. There were a few deviations on a few things, like before I came up with T Omega, I was originally going to have there be a field leader of Alphabet Soup who would develop a rivalry with Database and would have some sort of technical upgrade so that he could fight a Power Ranger. But that fell apart when basically I was going to get our friend Mark to play that role. He was going to be the leader. Yeah, he was going to be the leader of the group that that I would fight in that hallway. But it didn't pan out with him. And one of the reasons I wanted him to do it was because outside of him just being a good actor, he's also 6'4", and I wanted to do the kick to the face. And I wanted somebody who would be intimidating enough for me to do the kick to the face. And then it fell
That's how
through.
Dave got kicked in the face?
And then I'm like, because you were the one character that had already built up an intimidation factor. Because I couldn't get anyone else who was taller than me to sign on at the time.
And up to that point, you had also shot it, so it was not clear that I'm a little shorter than you.
Yeah, exactly.
To make me seem more of a threatening, imposing figure.
Exactly. So that's how that happened. And once that character, kind of fell out in the development, I still wanted there to be some sort of Alphabet Soup related threat to be the first monster for the Phantom Ranger to fight. And I realized when I had Tom as the T agents get sucked into the void, that I could have that be an opportunity for him to get turned into a creature.
And all of that, by the way, happened at the bottom of an amphitheater classroom at our alma mater.
Oh yeah, for the year 2 finale. Yeah, the year 2 finale also was a lot
We
bigger.
filmed there a lot, and we got away with it because we both used to be in a major where people did film projects.
Yeah.
And so we just knew how to act like students who were
Belong
at the
there.
school. Like, oh yeah,
We're
it's just a couple
all I
of
need
acts,
to do was
maybe.
just say, we're just doing a video project. I gave
I see.
no more details than that. Just,
that was
we're just
it.
doing a
And
video
I remember
project.
filming in the staircase over there at
Oh yeah,
one
you
point.
could film
and-
anywhere on location there if they thought you were a student. We were graduates, so.
Oh,
It
Simeon was
worked.
blown away by the Green with Evil fight. That's what he was referencing. Dyrano had it out, and he had a quick question, so I'll address that real quick. If we could have any Power Ranger powers, who would we choose? Hopefully we haven't lost our opportunity to answer him before he leaves.
Well, I mean, obviously, Jake gave me exactly what I always wanted. Mystic Force.
Mystic Force powers. Betsy, do you know enough about
I
Power Rangers to
could
make a
not
choice?
even
I don't think.
Answer that. Let me turn it around. Which one would you think would fit me the best? You guys have known me for a long time. You know I have a dual evilness, and then there's,
I mean, not evil because we're talking Power Ranger powers, but I think some Mystic Mother could be awesome.
You can come with me.
all right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Mystic, she's got ice powers.
That would work.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, I'd be Privet off Vita.
Sure.
That was the Pink Ranger from there.
Oh, okay.
Their mentor and Flight Ranger is who you.
That would work.
And then Dave, you got
Oh no, I didn't watch as much to the point where they started having beyond normal human abilities that were just enhanced.
yeah.
Like for me, it was when I watched it was all about the Green Ranger, the Dragon Zord.
I mean, that's a valid answer.
You can go Green
That would
Ranger.
be-
Green Ranger is very valid.
Go green.
And then Saba eventually. That was.
Who do I go with? Because obviously I've got so many options. Because
Look
they,
at the
they,
freaking Phantom Ranger!
but I've
We
been
all know it!
here's the thing. I've been told I can't choose the Phantom Ranger.
Oh, okay.
I can't choose Phantom. Which is a shame because I've created this whole mythology surrounding the Phantom and his powers. Who could I choose? You know what? I'm gonna go full dark side here. I'm gonna just say Final Evolution Draken. Why not? He gets to reshape.
Took Green Ranger.
Alternate universe. It's valid. This is when he's got full on reality warping powers. Why not? Go for it.
See, it's the full.
Final Evolution. Final Evolution Draken. I'll go full.
Just a few swipes.
Yeah, there you go.
I think that's full evil on that one. Why not?
Alright, favorite episode you filmed.
You asked me on a
as
different
Green
day,
Ranger.
I would have had a different.
And my answer is still the one where I got the Mystic Force powers. I mean, I got to run around the woods with Dan.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun episode.
I'm actually a LARPer. That's why that's fun for me.
And then Betsy, I don't know if you had a particular favorite filming experience that you can remember.
Obviously, you wouldn't know which episode it was in.
I
but-
have no idea which episode it was in, and there have been so. No, I really
so
can't
scattered.
because I would show up about every 6 months to a year. So
I'll say I really liked when we filmed with you and Marty at RPI, and you got to have your full intro monologues.
that was fun.
Yeah, you just got to really just kind of own that scene when you
My
two
true
walk
evil,
walk in from the elevator.
and I'm like, yes,
Like,
fully
we're fully in
power.
control, and then it follows into the next episode where it's just like, we were in control. What is happening? Oh no! Why are there demons all over our building? No!
You know, my staff would say I wasn't acting. At any rate.
And then if we're talking about favorite episodes, Dave, do you have a favorite that you did?
I mean, the stunts are always fun to work on. The fight with Green Reveal was a lot to work through. That was
Yeah.
good.
That was fun.
I don't know. The favorite lines were the running gag of getting hit in the face, but
Yeah.
also thinking about getting a helmet always was just amusing to me. That you put that in there.
And then on my end, honestly, like there's been so many that I love, but I keep coming back to Trick or Treat. Trick or
That
Treat
was
was
fun.
so much fun. That was like such a. It was.
Look at the puppet dance!
I just got to play on so much
That
creative
whole
energy
thing
with that.
was one great big Twin Peaks stream.
It was so fun because I got to play around with. I'm like, what do I want to have happen in this moment? I can do whatever. We have a dance party now. We
I
have.
did caramel dancing.
I'm a marionette now. I'm in
myself.
I'm in a bathtub for some reason. Like, I had you eating sushi in like a Japanese dressing.
And I'm okay with that because I like sushi.
That helps.
I have an oniki pal, so.
Everything about that episode was just so much fun to film, and we got
I've seen your prom dress.
and I got to bring in
I
so many.
still fit in it back then.
And
Nowadays I would not.
And that was one of those episodes where I got to bring in so many people too, because I could use almost every character who had been introduced to date was in that episode.
If you watch some of these episodes,
Including
the
characters
weight
who had not been in the
fluctuations
same
are
episode
ridiculous
before.
because they're filmed over long periods of time.
Yes.
That was a
I'm like,
really
I'm getting
fun,
pregnant, I'm
really
getting
fun.
unpregnant, I'm getting pregnant again.
You know, there's plenty of other episodes that I'm definitely extremely proud of, but I think that might have been the most fun to film. And then coming back to some more of Matt's questions. So yeah, how much was pre-planned ahead of time? A lot, but the details of how to get to those major milestones
Not so much.
changed up a little bit. Like by the time that each year of the show started, I had figured out what that year was going to be, and by the time I got to the end of year 0, I knew what the end of the series was going to be. But yeah, fun fact: year 2 was originally going to end with a fight in the Morphosis apartment, and then I decided to do the fight in Alphabet Soup instead because that was where the development of the story took me. Because it just kind of had. Once I brought in T Omega as a concept, that kind of shifted things over, and it all kind of tied together with the landlord's invasion and everything just kind of evolved there. And then year 3, I had
Well,
a
what
better
happened is
idea
Jake got a
of.
good job.
Right.
I knew more about what I wanted to do for year 3
Oh yes, absolutely.
during
But before that, he was
before I figured out what I was doing for year 2. It was that middle chapter that you had to kind of figure out. But it all
That was
came
also
together
we
really
had
well.
far fewer
Yeah.
special effects and a lot more sitting in front of a chair like you did in this
So,
one. and
Let's see.
after that.
Question 2 from Matt was, what other dropped other PR characters appearing subplot did I drop that I was going to involve?
I mean, it used to be there was going to be an entire rotating cast, and then it just became me.
Yeah, there was going. Yeah, this is referencing something I've talked about before.
Dr. K was not like a permanent fixture until that Power Morphicon.
No, it was before it. It was. Until
The
yes.
first Power Morphicon,
Yeah.
where I cosplayed it before
No.
we even did the show.
Even then, when I was still developing the show, I was going to have it rotate between Dr. K, and then I was going to bring in you as like an Alpha 5 character, and I was going to try and bring in other people.
Because I own an Alpha 5 costume.
But then I
Okay.
realized, but then but then I decided to instead really focus on just the core characters that we had, and because I realized
It's
when
a
I
little
was
more Disney bounding than
when I was
costume.
first
You
developing
know what I'm saying?
compiling the cast, like you and Justin and Sarah as being
Like if
in
a
the core
robot had
cast
a
with me and
silk
MJ.
shirt that looks like it, rather than it being
That I wasn't
a
having a
robot
lot of
outfit.
strong parallels with characters specifically in the show. Like you ended up being a Hexagon agent, and part of that was I didn't want to have you involved. And
And that's the thing.
there is no Power Rangers character that you directly resembled in the same way that MJ resembled Dr. K.
In the same way, I resembled Dr. K when we started.
So it was going to be.
I have gotten a lot older, and I do not look like Olivia Tennant looked back then anymore. Then again, neither does Olivia Tennant. We've diverged.
but you know, early in
back.
development before the show started,
Yeah, for like 2 episodes. Like
I was
many
originally
years
going
later.
to
And she
have
was-
this running bit of
she was,
everyone
like,
in
17,
databases'
so
real
she
life
had like cupid face.
resembled
and then when she came back, like
a Power
7
Rangers
8 years later.
She was an adult.
She was an adult.
But early on, everyone in databases' real life was going to be someone who would have some Power Rangers character they would resemble. And I realized I didn't have enough people in my life who resembled Power Rangers characters. And so that part then became, okay, it's just Dr. K and Mayo, but I would still have him whole questioning his reality. And and the running bit was going to be eventually you figure out, you know, everybody has a Power Rangers analog, and then what's his? Oh, he's actually the Phantom Ranger. And that was the initial brainstorming of the show. So Alpha 5 was going to be in there. I briefly considered making you the Gold Ranger, but I never even communicated that to you because it never went anywhere. I was going to. The more Posmers were initially thought of maybe being like an Ernie and Miss Appleby kind of parallel. I had a friend who never made it onto the show who was going to be like a parallel with Adele from Power Rangers in Space. So those were all characters who I was brainstorming, but it never
Yeah, everybody
solidified.
thinks the Reposters are Gem and Gemma.
Yeah, I know, which is
But
funny.
they're Ernie and Miss Appleby.
Yes. But just ended up evolving far away from that by the time they were introduced.
Obviously.
And then one character who was going to be part of the show was going to be Ziggy. Ziggy was going to be part of the show
Because Dr. K was
because
there.
of Dr. K. But there was going to be I had an initial plot line I thought up where
Turn him into a stuffed animal.
he was going to be turned into a stuffed animal.
I have a frog in a leather jacket.
Yeah, I actually wanted him to be a little green Cthulhu. But then he was going to be trapped in that form, and so we were going to have to because I didn't have anyone who could play Ziggy, he would be a purely vocal role.
I mean, because nobody here looks like Mila Coughlin.
And I also would have had an alpha character come through, and we were going to have a handful of characters come through. And then it just never. And then, so that was going to be something relating to the end of year 2, which I was saying earlier would have been a final fight in the more Posmers department. And then I just kind of ended up dropping that whole attempt to try and work Ziggy in there because
It didn't work.
it didn't really work.
The last vestige of that is the fact that Kay has
Had a
an
dream,
action figure by her computer.
and briefly had the dream, or had the lolcat episode where where
the frog.
the
The
stuffed
frog
frog in the
was
leather
there,
jacket
talking.
said hi in Ziggy's voice.
Yes, that's true. And also, of course, as it turns out, we had Freddy.
Oh, also, I got this close to having David Fielding voice sword on. I was
Yeah, we
so
were just
close.
a few years too late.
I
He
just
agreed to it, and then
I just couldn't follow up fast
voice
enough.
acting basically
Yeah.
before he got back around to it.
Well, he's focusing on his writing career. But he was up for it. He appeared in episode 94 in the Power Morphin episode. He was open to it. I just couldn't get him the script in time for him to be able to commit to it. And that was on me. That was purely on me. I screwed that up. It was a great opportunity. I would have loved for it to happen. But I was too overwhelmed with too many things.
Yeah,
And I
because year
couldn't get
3
to it.
became 10 years.
Well, 7, but yeah.
Wasn't counting.
Exactly.
Not me, I'm bad at math.
So
We've established that. I keep picking this up and drinking it, and I want to tell you, this thing has been empty for half an hour.
and I feel like that, like all of my answers to questions 1 and
I was
2.
about to do it again, so I'm just calling myself on it.
My answers to question 1 and 2 basically addressed question 3, which was what other things in the story changed over time, if any. I think I just listed off
Okay, a
everything.
couple more. I don't know if I missed it while I was out of the room, but the secretary.
Oh, the secretary was
The
one where.
secretary was just a secretary. Then the secretary was.
No, the secretary was always supposed to be secretly a villain.
Well, okay, she was supposed to be a soup agent, but then she became like the boss soup agent.
No, she was always intended that.
And then she moved, and we recast her with Peggy,
Yeah, she
who
moved.
we decided to make her mother.
Yeah. The secretary reveal was going to be sooner than it was. The secretary reveal was supposed to be in episode 70, but Shelby wasn't available, so that's why we only had from the back of the head, and then she got introduced in episode 75, and I felt like the reveal had much less impact by that point. And then yes, she got replaced with Peggy.
So
for
yeah, it
year
wasn't
3.
planned to replace the secretary midway.
That was not planned, and that was
And also, T Omega moved to Florida, so we wound up with Agent H.
Yeah, no, actually, they were in it together.
Okay, he got a lot more screen time than he would have got if we were sticking with Agent T.
No, actually, no. No, that was kind of. I just really liked.
You really like.
I really liked working with Steve. And so I decided.
I felt like Arn had mostly
Yeah,
filled in the gap.
yeah,
that
him-
was left behind by Tom.
Yeah, but that was mostly because I had already sent his character off to another dimension.
Fair enough.
No, it was mostly that they were the ones who were most reliable, and so they got the most growth across the course of year 2.
Because
And
yeah,
so-
soup agents were malleable based on availability.
And it really came. A lot of it came down to there were people who I enjoyed working with, who were reliable to work with, and so I expanded their characters. That happened with Dr. C, who
Yes.
I loved.
He was going to be like a one-off, wasn't he?
Yeah, Kowalski was just going to be was originally
The
just
villain
credited
in
as
that one episode.
he was just credited as Alphabet Soup scientist, and there were going to be more scientists at Alphabet Soup. I'm like, but Kowalski nailed his first appearance as Dr. C so well.
I've seen
And-
clips of
And I'm just like, I really want to have him in the show more. And so he went from like a one-off in year 1 to recurring in year 2 to
Basically
part of the
a
main
regular
cast
cast.
in year 3.
Year 3, isn't it?
Thank you. It's just fun to work with.
Yeah.
Oh, I love working
Um,
there. It was a pity he couldn't make it today.
You know, Steve
Shut up,
Steve was another one. Rachel Sheffer, who plays the R agents. I really fleshed out her characters. And then, and then I realized she gave me my avenue. Her character gave me my avenue for bringing Darkonda onto the ship through R Omega. And that ended up being a really good way to write her other show when she moved away. So there were just a number of things where there was stuff that I already wanted to do, and then things happened that
I mean, you kind of
opened up
into college,
ideas
so
for how to do it.
Once people are done with college, you pick a spot and stay.
when you get your first job, you figure
So-
that's what they're going to be.
So I think that addresses most
lots
of the
of people-
changes. Like I still had this worked out well in advance to a pretty solid amount of detail. Oh man, we are already hitting 7. I knew this was going to be a long stream too. So let's see to address a few other things. How hard or easy was it for everyone to get back into character after long stretches of not filming?
Ranger series operators. Ranger series operators.
That's your to get it back
I
into
have to keep saying that until I get the accent right, and then I can do good.
Yeah.
The other two are not that hard. I mean, Alpha is just like, hi.
we did have a few moments where
I would accent slip between characters sometimes.
yeah, where like we had to rediscover K Alpha once or twice because she was slipping too much into K. And Betsy, I think it just came naturally.
I'm not sure how to take that.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought I was your favorite evil person. Again, I was here every 6 months on call, on demand, and just.
I mean, for being very evil,
I
you're
mean-
also very normal, which means you didn't have a lot of, like, you didn't have to do a voice or anything like that.
No, and
But also, Betsy, you're
You're very professional.
you're good, solid working actress who nailed it on that big monologue that you had in '99. Like you had the whole big thing where you had to read that, where it was like talking about all your regrets over the years, and that was originally supposed to be a conversation between you and Marty, and then I just had to shove it all onto you, talking to me being an unconscious Marty. And I feel like you really did an excellent performance.
I think this is kind of a shout out to all local acting communities. Is that there is a lot of professional, talented people who are stop that. Who are out there who enjoy acting. Stop. Don't make me get out the broom. There's lots of many strong acting communities where a lot of good actors who are very professional. This is a shout out to your local community actors, your local plays. If you've never gone to see local plays, go. You'd be really surprised at how professional they are and how the quality of actors that are out there.
I mean, it's like you said during the credits. You said you were surprised how many of those people in the credits you knew. And that's because we relied so heavily on casting out of our local theater community.
Yeah, that's the reason this show was able to happen, is because we have such a strong connection to the local theater community. Not as strong as it was 10 years ago,
Because we spent all our time doing this.
spent all time doing
Haven't
this.
done a show in 10 years.
But I will say, we all met and circles all because we had done the production of The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, that's right. Because that was how I dragged you into.
Well,
That was my
Jim
first time
already
dragging
did.
you into acting. That's right.
I can
Drag
really
me into
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
But
we were very
That's
surprised
when you
that
had
Dave
just
moved to
moved
the area.
into this area.
Dave was actually from Jake's high school.
Yeah.
Well, Dave and I have actually done more than one production together. We've done a couple. I put anyway.
And here you would have.
I just went down to the same and I got tongue.
I know. Let's we talk like no.
Alright.
No, we
Yeah,
won't
but
bring out the Irish accents.
Yeah.
We won't go
A ton-
there.
Like, so many of the people that were in this were from the local theater community. Basically, the only people in this who were not from the local theater community were a few of the soup agents that we just sort of wrangled in here or there because we needed extra bodies.
Yeah.
And most of those were, close friends of ours who just don't do theater.
And I'll say until COVID hit, I was doing 2 to 3 productions a year. So, this was just an easy roll on for me.
Yeah.
Got any other parts?
I used to do 2 to 3 productions a year. Then I
Now you
got
became a
roped
mother.
into a web series. Film constantly.
Made it easier to access. You didn't have to go to the
So
theater anymore.
you didn't have to commute.
Yeah, but there's also now that break in between.
Oh my
We're
goodness.
rapping!
It's so amazing to
party!
finally be rapping after so many years. Like, because usually when you do a show, it's like 2
There's a
months.
cycle to it.
It's like maybe
There's a
2
cycle
months.
to it.
There is.
And then you're done.
Usually you rap just when you think you've got your part finally nailed and you know what you're doing.
Yep.
And it's like, wait, no,
Oh, and then for me, we tend to rap just when I'm like, I can't do this anymore, I'm exhausted, and I need sleep. Unfortunately,
This
that
just kept going.
part ended years ago.
This was 100 shows. How about you? Did you ever have trouble getting into the character of Guy?
I mean, guys really just my voice but deeper, which was always the interesting challenge of, well, you need to be deeper. It's like, this is my voice.
I know.
But,
I mean, it's your voice but deeper, but the dude is not you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The original dude was, honestly, we were talking about who it would be. It's like, very staccato, by books. This is what we're doing. This is how it is. And quite honestly, I had just finished playing like the newer Sam and Max games, and in it there is an agent that shows up in all of them, and is that very plain. No, this is what we're doing. What can you think of? And that was what originally Guy was based on, or at least where it came from.
Well, I also find it funny because you need to pitch your voice down for your character. I actually pitch my voice up a little bit for that. I mean,
And I pitch mine all over the place depending on who I am
Yeah.
and what accent.
well, then I pitch it back down for landlord, and wherever I get and then I've also Zordon is the trickiest voice to get because
You were trying to do.
because I'm really trying to mimic a specific performance with Zordon, and I'm trying to get a specific vibration to my voice and a cadence to my voice that, while reading lines that are out of sync with what the character would normally say, because the Zordon character is always presenting knowledge and always coming from a place of wisdom, and I had to, in '97, present him as being very confused and disoriented, which was very tricky to do that while also matching the standards of the performance.
Yeah, you don't expect Zordon to sound vulnerable.
So that was a tricky one where I was just really pushing my voice. Landlord was always just fun. I just had to drop my voice down a little bit and toss on a little bit more sophistication, and then just really add it up.
Darnell wants to know what you think about his DRPR OC.
Oh, right.
His friend of TV from Alternate Universe.
I remember that you shared that with me, but I'm all for original characters. I wish I remembered more details about them. But yeah, by all means, if you guys want to create any sort of fan fiction or whatever surrounding our show, please do. I love that.
By the way,
that's wonderful.
Jenny C in the chat is reminding us again that her very favorite episode will always be Tigers Fall, Lions Rise.
Yeah, she's apparently majorly responsible for that being one of our most viewed episodes. The one with you and,
That would be
Master
yours.
Gel. Eating the pizza.
Yep.
So she was losing over the pizza.
And Jake, how much did the introduction of the comics multiverse affect the story?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, was before the story came out, Jake's sitting here going, don't mess up my continuity, don't mess up my continuity, don't mess up my continuity!
Every time that anything happened that, that was impacting the greater Power Rangers multiverse, I was just, please don't screw up my continuity for my series. I didn't want to have to worry about because my
is supposed to exist in the Power Rangers.
because I put so much work into making this mesh with the existing continuity of the show and draw connections in points of continuity that did not previously exist.
Yeah, I'm just checking because
Yeah, I know it's getting late.
21 minutes until I gotta call this for me.
Okay, yeah, because we gotta get.
We hit 7:30. I gotta go really.
We gotta get kids down. We gotta get things wrapped up with the babysitter.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's okay. So I was always nervous on whether something would disrupt that mission of creating this cohesive vision of the Power Rangers multiverse. And I was very fortunate that none of it did end up heavily disrupting things. With regards to the comics, there were some small changes. An origin for the Phantom, once they had Edge of Darkness come out, which was a Phantom Ranger one-shot comic that was set 10,000 years ago. I'm like, I did not originally intend for my character to be 10,000 years old. That changes my origin a little bit. Because the origin that I had in mind for him was largely the origin that I explored in '97 with his body, being a synth-organic biomechanoid constructed as a vessel for Zordon to have a body when Zordon was released from his interdimensional time warp at the beginning of Turbo and went back home to Eltar. And I know Betsy had no idea what I'm talking about.
I have no idea. I'm just standing over.
Just here for the
talking
ride.
amongst ourselves.
So,
Talk mom stuff.
when that happened, so it was originally going to be that he was basically a brand new constructed being in 1997. But he had a story that was set 10,000 years ago, and that story showed him as not having a physical body within his suit. So I decided that I had to merge those two stories to him having a new body in 97, whilst still having existed prior to that. And I will admit, him being 10,000 years old really makes the whole thing with him and Cassie a little iffy to me. I'm not sure I like that take on the character, but I accept it as being part of a continuity for the show. So I roll with it. Well, comics continuity is always a little iffy. The comics are not completely compatible with the show in terms of continuity. One is that there is the sliding time scale. They moved everything to modern day, and they were ostensibly having most of the events play out like they originally did. But they also have the Heir to Darkness one-shot, which placed Astronema and Divatox as being like peers age-wise, which did not work with Divatox's backstory of having had like a fiance who was like an ancient pharaoh, like 100,000 years ago. So that stuff just didn't mesh for me. So I'm like, okay, this doesn't. Plus, they had, and that also was at odds with my origins for Dark Spectre, which was that he was using Malagor's body. So that was the one aspect of the comics I chose to ignore, especially since that aspect of the comics also appeared to be ignored when they brought Dark Spectre back for the Darkest Hour arc, which I still need to finish reading. I'm behind on the comics, and I hate that I'm behind on the comics because Melissa Flores is a wonderful person. She's given me a hug, and she's sat down to lunch with me and talked to me about script writing, and she's just a wonderful person. I want to support all of her endeavors, and I need to read more comics to do that, and it makes me sad that I have not been able to read her comics. I want to read the Massiverse. I want to read her work on Deadline. I want to read her Biker Mice from Mars. She's writing Biker Mice from Mars. I want to read her take on Spider-Gwen. She wrote for Spider-Gwen. She's having a great comics writing career right now. I'm so happy for her. So I do not remember what question I was answering with all that. I think it was
what was impacted by
the comic. What was impacted by the comics? I think I probably. And then the Power Rangers universe got a miniseries, got a shout out at the end of '99 where Dark Spectre says, "I was there at the beginning. I'm the one who made you the Phantom Ranger," which was something that was so surprising to me in the comics that they actually had a direct rivalry between the Phantom Ranger and Dark Spectre in the comics, more so than anything that was in the show. And that was a perfect, parallel to this, where the whole thing came down to a conflict between those two characters. So, I want to make sure that we're getting to any other questions that are in here.
Yes. Because we are running,
let's see.
Especially, y'all can keep going.
You guys have shouted out some of the Rangers you would be, which is great. You know, one person said that Jenny said the Yellow Ranger, preferably from either Mystic Force or Wild Force.
Chips, my boy.
Ranger Vision says congrats on the amazing finale. Thank you. I was talking about Direna's character, Crixley. We were just addressing Ranger Vision's question about the comics multiverse. And yes, I mean, you were very close to being the same age as the Phantom. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers: The Return. Yeah, that's another comic. I really need to catch up on the comics because I haven't. I can watch TV shows while editing. I can't read comic books.
He's saying that.
So I've watched a lot of TV shows while. I gotta figure out how I'm watching TV shows now. I'm so used to watching TV shows while editing, and now it's like.
Oh, I don't know, on the couch with your wife.
Yeah, that too. That I can do that. But also just other shows, we've got 2 kids. We're not gonna have that much time to watch TV.
That's what you do after they go to sleep.
No, you go to sleep.
And then you happily fall asleep during those shows.
But
They start.
but no, for the shows that we don't watch together, I'll probably just play in the background while I'm cleaning up the house as I should. Like The Basement. I'm not gonna lie, that is actually what I've been thinking. Like I'm like, when am I gonna watch these shows that I was watching separate from you? Then now I need to
The
catch up.
studio's no longer in use. So all of the boxes in the basement that we still haven't unpacked are coming upstairs to the studio for easier unpacking.
Yes. Yeah, we've lived here for 2 years. We're still
You
not done
go
unpacking,
It's a
which
constant.
is a constant thing.
Or for at least
We still need to finish painting. That's the whole thing. There's just so many things.
There's always something with the house. Yeah.
25 years. So and it's a big
There's
house.
one half left in the half.
Honestly, so
I'd like to get it to more than half.
as much as I appreciate your offer to give me a list of must-read stuff from the last few years, I've already got Power Ranger comics and Massiveverse comics to read through, and that's plenty. That is so much. I still haven't started reading the Massiveverse, and I want to, because that's all former Power Rangers comics writers, and I want to see this universe they've created that's getting all this critical acclaim. Radiant Black, Rogue Sun, Dead Lucky, Inferno Girl Red, Radiant Pink. There's just a bunch of stuff going on there that I want to read. I have to watch TV with RJ on my shoulders and BB on my lap. That is literally my
kind of
weekend.
things that happen.
It's
Yeah.
just me watching.
I should point out, I actually work.
It's me watching
weekends,
shows for RJ.
which means that he is a stay-at-home parent Saturday and Sunday,
And
I'm a stay-at-home parent
and
Monday and Tuesday.
I'm fully stay-at-home parent during the
entire summer,
during
he
the
takes
summer.
care of the children. He is actually Mr. Mom.
But yeah, we'll watch some
yeah.
Spidey and His
RJ on my
Amazing
shoulders
Friends
and
with
BB
RJ
on
on my
that
shoulders
happens.
and BB. That's absolute. I am RJ's favorite jungle gem.
And she
Oh my
should be.
goodness.
Yep.
That is.
Actually, they did say the other day, like, Papa, you're my favorite friend.
Aww.
I love those kiddos.
Oh, that.
You guys aren't allowed to see photos because that's not for wide distribution on the internet. But yeah. Oh yeah, that was from earlier today.
Yes,
That's
when you were feeling absurd, you asked me to take a picture, so I did.
When
Yes.
Because he
RJ
had
was
RJ
just-
on his shoulder.
RJ was
and
just-
and the baby in his arms.
Yep.
Like you do. Yeah.
And a bottle in the other hand.
Mhm.
You get the baby in one arm, the bottle in the hand, and RJ around the shoulders like a scarf. Not on like piggyback. No, this
Yeah.
kid is planking on his
Scott's
shoulders.
been living in his apartment 5 years, not unpacked. Yep. Recommend showing PBS Kids. We do a fair amount of Daniel Tiger
It's
now.
got to go potty, stop and go right away.
I will admit.
Watch and beyond your way.
Oh my
I
goodness,
see
Daniel
yours likes
Tigers.
it too.
Daniel Tigers is just a saving grace.
Mad, bad. It helps to say I'm mad.
Sometimes we like different things.
It
Helps to ask. What do you
like?
like? Those little
Daniel
jingles.
Tiger is where it's at.
It's so helpful. So helpful.
Let's talk about it. We'll do.
Should I start doing things from
Brush
Captain?
up, brush up, brush up, brush your teeth.
Yes.
First you get the top teeth. The top teeth. Brush the top.
I would
don't stop.
have to do things from Captain Kangaroo
Yeah.
and Bozo the Clown.
Okay, but see, here's the thing about
Also,
Daniel Tiger.
Number blocks rocks. I love
Daniel
number blocks.
Tiger.
Number blocks is
You
awesome.
already know, even though you don't know Daniel Tiger.
Oh yeah, you got it. Okay, I'm seeing the.
Oh no.
Pardon me, everyone.
I know it's been a long stream.
Yeah.
Daniel Tiger is from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood.
No, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is still too young for me. Look up Bozo the Clown and Captain Kangaroo.
Okay.
Fair enough. Oh yeah, Simeon, we do not tolerate Paw Patrol in this household.
No, ACAB includes Chase.
Yes, we don't do Paw Patrol here.
The only cops
we do
on
Pup
our
Struction.
television is
We've got Pupstruction.
the only cops on our television is Gwen's mom
Yeah, on
And-
Spidey and His Amazing Friends.
on Spidey and His Amazing Friends and the police car in
in Firebuds.
Firebuds.
Firebuds is pretty good.
Let's go, Firebuds.
There's a lot of good Disney Plus.
That's about a fire truck and an ambulance.
It's
so there is
remarkable
also
how
a
many
fire truck.
animated
It's
preschool
an
programs there are
anthropomorphic
now.
fire truck and an ambulance.
there were like no animated preschool shows when we were kids, and now there's so many.
Again, I don't know what to say because
There's like half a dozen different Mickey Mouse shows.
Kids
Your
were
kids
teenagers.
probably watched Mr.
Yeah.
Rogers.
Remember, I acquired my kids.
Right.
Let me put out a quick little blip out here for those of you who want to be foster parents. Just saying, they're out there.
Yep.
They love a home.
Yep.
And
They were out of the Mr. Rogers range by the time you acquired.
they were definitely out because I went with the dire age, and my first daughter. This was fun. She was 6, and I was 19. So, actually, no, that was fun because she and I would eventually go out when she was older and we would both get proofed.
Nice.
All right. So I know it's getting late. I don't know if people have any last lingering questions. Hopefully I did a good job of addressing all the story questions in universe.
I gotta go in 9 minutes.
I know that narratively, the final episode was a little jumped around a little bit, but I think everyone was able to follow it if they were watching it, in the context of having seen previous episodes.
Oh God, no Coco Melon either.
Yeah,
no Coco Melon.
Yeah.
We don't do Coco Melon. We don't do Paw Patrol, and we do not do Peppa Pig
Or Caillou.
or Caillou. Big man's Bluey.
Oh, everybody loves Blue. But yeah,
Dave.
jumping around.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't?
No, not yet.
Oh, if you're doing Dave with Tiger, you can check out Bluey.
But
They're 7 minutes total.
But yeah, jumping around between showing things.
Except the mini-sodes.
I feel like the final episode of Power Reviews was a little bit of a kind of reverse Memento because we started from like a middle and then we kind of went out in 2 directions from that middle to figure out where the story started and where it's ending, and then we jumped further ahead and then doubled back before finally getting to the very end. What I'm trying to say is Christopher Nolan's got nothing on Power Reviews, obviously.
There's the next task on this is to figure out what's on the little Easter eggs everywhere.
Which Nolan is that?
Written list.
The director who's.
But there's 2 of them.
I know, but the movie director.
The movie one, not the TV one. Okay.
Yes, Jonathan Nolan. I know did Person of Interest and Westworld, but yeah, Memento, Inception,
I prefer Jonathan.
the Dark Knight trilogy, all that. That's Christopher Nolan.
He gave me root. I prefer the TV one.
I get that. What's the meaning of life? The meaning of life is what you make of it.
42.
That's the ultimate answer. The question answer the question of life.
The universe said everything.
But I guess one of the first questions from way back at the beginning of the chat was, what comes next? And I had already said that it wasn't going to be rapid run throughs, and that I feel as though I've done my work on Power Rangers in terms of episode analysis. I feel like I've made my statements. I feel like I've done so in a variety of formats.
I'm a bail now.
Oh,
Thank you guys.
All right.
Thank you for your ears.
All right. If possible, I'll let you know when we're wrapping, and that way you can say a final goodbye. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I love you. I'm sorry. This is what happens when we're overlapping with kiddo bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
But we also couldn't have done it any earlier because MJ works weekends. So this is kind of our time slot here, and I didn't want to. This is kind of our last little run with the Ranger fans. But yeah, I feel like over the course of the last 12 years, I have analyzed Power Rangers in so many, like every which way you can, like through Power Reviews, through the live reactions, through the Ranger logs, the deeper looks, the rapid run-throughs, the conversations in context, and could I go back to any of those formats and explore more ideas and more episodes? Yeah, probably. But I feel like I've I've made the impact I'm making, and I feel like there's other people who are still analyzing Power Rangers in other ways. My time, I think, is kind of over. The channel never really exploded in a big way. We're almost to 4,400 subscribers, which is respectable. But let's face it, that's not anywhere near a professional YouTube channel or anything like that, or even most mid-tier channels. We're above that bottom tier, but just by a little bit. Maybe one day I'll check in on here and I'll see us maybe finally get 5,000. Because we have kind of averaged over the course of the last 12 years like 1 new subscriber a day.
Okay.
Like we've had a linear growth. It never went exponential, only linear. With occasional spikes here and there, and occasionally not, but the overall trend. So since I am looking at basically retiring from Power Rangers episode analysis, I am going to be focusing on real life things. I do have an idea in mind for continuing some video work. One thing is I'm hoping to help out a little bit with Worlds Elsewhere, which is an online theater group that I've worked with before, and help out a little bit more with them. But I do have a video project in mind for next year that is not yet solidified, so I'm not going to make that announcement here in the context of this very long stream. I'll let it be its own announcement. I think that at the end of the year I'll do a end of year wrap up, as I tend to do a little end of year wrap up vlog, and I think because that's not like a big commitment thing. I sit down in front of a camera, unscripted, chat at the camera until I feel like I've said my piece and move on. And I'll, if everything's moving forward with that idea for the future, I'll convey that in that project. But I will say what I'm thinking of is something that is more of a collaborative project, so that it is not all on me in so many respects. And because I am looking at a more collaborative project, I need to reach out to some other video creators who I have not communicated this with at all. I have some people in mind who I want to reach out to, who I'd like to work with on a ongoing collaborative video project where it would not be narrative driven and it would not be Power Rangers focused. It would be more focused on making active contributions to the real world. I want to migrate over from talking about fictional superheroes to inspiring people to be superheroes in their real life. And so that is a little tease of what I have in mind. So this channel is seeing, it's sort of slow end here in many respects. Might post the occasional video to this channel. If I do end up doing this collaborative project, my contributions would be posted on this channel. But if I'm able to make it work with other people, then I might be setting up an additional channel for that. So that's the level of detail I think I can give at this time. I want to try and work on a new collaborative video project, non-narrative, non-analysis, that's going to be focusing on inspiring people to be superheroes in their real life. I feel like I'm really proud of some of the work that we've done here, especially when it came to the live streams back in 2020, where we managed to raise $5,000 for voting rights, which was astounding. I managed to get so many people involved who were creators and cast and crew from Power Rangers, and that was really great. And I wish I could do more stuff like that. But as you've experienced just with today, coordinating a live stream when you have two very small children is not a feasible long-term plan. This is a one-off kind of thing. So I've been brainstorming other ideas that I think I'm excited for, but I'm waiting to I'm waiting before I commit, and I'm waiting before I jump in. I want to make sure that there's the larger group of people to work with first, so that I don't end up burning myself out. But really, I'm not gonna lie, this has been a big.
Being a parent is a full-time job.
It is. Being a parent is a full-time job. Being a teacher is a full-time job. Being a YouTuber is a full-time job. I've had many full-time jobs concurrently.
Yeah, that's what I was going. Yeah.
But I've been the full-time writer. I've been the full-time producer. I've been the full-time editor. I've been an actor. I've been all the things.
Don't worry.
Showbiz.
Another 20 years or so, you'll get your life back.
Hey! Today, this marks the end of my to-do list for 2015.
For 2015. Yay!
Only took me 9 years.
But you maintained the long goal. So,
I did.
You know, not many people can hold up a 2015 goal that long.
I thank you, sir.
So what do you plan for 2016?
For 2016, vote! Vote! Vote!
Yes.
Just vote!
I'll agree with that. Vote.
Yes, I will be. So that's one of the other things is I want to make sure that I'm not focusing on video stuff for the next few weeks because I'm going to be phone banking like crazy for these next few weeks. In past years, I've done like hundreds and hundreds of calls.
If you don't want a phone bank, I think there's still time to contact places that will send you postcards.
Yes, postcards. Do postcards too.
They're pre-stamped and they'll send you the address labels, and all you have to do is include a quick note of saying something like "hoping to see you at the voting booth."
Yes. So
if you don't want to talk to somebody, you can just spend time putting on stamps and writing notes and mailing those out.
This is very much an election where everybody does need to try and put in their part. Whatever small bit that can be, whether it's donating, whether it's postcards, whether it's texting, whether it's phoning, whether it's canvassing, going door to door, or just, trying to maintain those conversations with people about what's going on. This election is incredibly important on multiple levels. Put in the work if you can. I know I've taught this to death in the past, and I still mean it. I know I'm going to be trying to put in 2,000 phone calls across the course of the next couple weeks. I can't do the big push like I did in 2020, so please, anyone out there who can put in that work, please put in that work. I'm going to say, don't forget about your congressional races. They are incredibly important. I'm actually almost exclusively going to be voting for congressional races in 26 because I am very much of the opinion that, for the most part, if you're voting for a Democrat for Congress, you're probably not voting for Donald Trump for president because there's just too much antagonism from that specific individual for that vote to make sense. I know there are exceptions. If you have a connection to your local, congressperson and be like, oh, I would never normally vote for a Democrat, but I'll vote for them now. I get that's a thing that happens with some people. The people who aren't so heavily in that personality vortex that is the Republican candidate.
Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
The presidential races get a lot of press.
Yeah.
You look in your newspapers, and I'd probably say easily 70 to 80% is focused on the president. But the president isn't a dictator. What the president accomplishes is only done with work from the Congress as well. And those races are every bit as important as the flashbang of the president.
And it's going to come down to right now the House is the narrowest margin that it's in history.
Mm-hmm.
It could easily flip with enough work. The Senate is extremely close as well. It's a 51 majority right now. and we know that Joe Manchin is retiring, and Kirsten Sinema is retiring as well. And so those are so it could easily go back to being 50-50 next year. If we're lucky, it'll be 50-50 next year.
Again, that totally gets lost in all the big glamour of the presidency, but yes.
But if you are feeling at all hopeless when it comes to voting, or you're talking to people who don't feel like their vote matters, like, I want to remind you about those races. Some of the most pivotal congressional House races are going to be in California and New York, which are not places where you think of your vote mattering because they are so, entrenched blue states already. But don't forget about those congressional districts. Like, one of the reasons, 4 New York districts flipped last time around, and that's all we need. All we would need to flip it back the other way.
And many of the elections are coming down to 100 votes.
Yeah,
It's
remarkably
not a
close.
lot. Yeah. So don't forget. Don't let it slip your mind.
And if you're thinking, oh, what about filibuster? The 2 people who've been blocking the filibuster on the Democratic Party are both leaving.
Yep.
If we get that, if Ruben Gallego gets in Arizona and all the other incumbents maintain their seats, we could see an end to the filibuster blocking things like Roe v. Wade, things like the voting right, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, like things like term limits on the Supreme Court. Like, it is remarkable how many things legislatively could change with just having that 50-50 in the Senate and taking back those 4 seats to the House. And if those were to happen, there's a good chance that the White House would be secured as well. So you take it from the bottom up. You get those people who are feeling disaffected, who need to get to the ballot boxes. You get them there, voting in those congressional races. Those get some of those extra presidential votes too. It's been a crazy presidential election with the switchover between candidates, and don't let that suck up all the air. Don't forget about all those little pieces that matter.
And remember to look at what their voting records actually are versus what they say versus what actually happens.
Yes.
Because there are those states that voted against certain funding measures, but then ran big press saying, look at all the funding we're bringing back.
Oh yeah.
They voted against it.
Yeah.
But then they'll say, look at all the money we brought.
Hey, look, look. You know what? I'll give a. You probably heard Marjorie Taylor.
You're getting much more specific.
I'm gonna be. Okay. You know what? What? Oh no, I'm gonna lose subscribers. It's my last. She will say like, hey, she'll go home and be like, hey, look at all those things that I'm doing for your district, and it will all be stuff that she voted against. And that's something that is.
That to me is very frustrating, regardless of party, regardless of publicity.
It's true.
Take a hard look and see if their voting record matches their rhetoric.
Yeah. And also, in some cases, like, people will just lie about what's in the bill. They just do that. Like, I remember, there was like someone who I was friends with on Facebook for a while, and not with anymore, who was talking about, they're going to be giving free college to undocumented immigrants in New York. And I was like, oh, really? And I looked at the bill, I'm like, oh, this bill doesn't say that. It's like, all it says is that it is permitted for groups to set up, like, funding support for undocumented immigrants in the same way they already do for everyone else. And his replies were like, but we should be taking care of Americans first. I'm like, but we literally already are. It's like,
And the thing is one does
it's like
not,
they're literally already being taken care of first.
and one does not exclude the other. That's one of their other favorite arguments, is to say we are not taking care of X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at Jon Stewart, total Democrat, totally out there for veterans' rights. He is dead on. We are not taking care of our veterans
Oh,
the
it's
way
true.
we should.
Like,
you know?
I'm not going to pretend that the Democratic Party is by any means perfect. I disagree with them on a number of fundamental issues.
Oh, we can really get deep into the weeds about
Oh, we
political
can.
parties to
Oh my
begin
goodness.
with. But you're right.
I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should my next project be a political podcast instead?
Let's see. Are there any other Power Ranger comments? Let's break the Power Rangers.
Oh, how about the rest of Cosmic Fury? Oh, Dyra, no, I did cover Cosmic Fury through those deeper run-throughs. I need to add those to the Deeper Look playlist. Happy birthday for this coming week to Jenny C. For reference, she discovered this show when she was in the 7th grade, and she's going to be 20 in 4 days.
Happy birthday.
She's a baby. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Simeon Scott says he's going to be Pokemon going to the polls. Dyrano just got registered to vote recently.
Excellent.
Nice.
Coming 2025, Jake rips off Cody's Jody. There's a YouTube channel I enjoy called Some More News, and Simeon saying that I'm voting for Ranger Vision says I would listen to your political podcast. Oh, don't encourage him.
Don't encourage him.
Look, I do already have some things in mind for next year. That being said, if anybody ever wants to invite me on a podcast, I'm generally fine for making those kinds of appearances. I've done it before for various Power Rangers podcasts. So I'm always happy to say hi and chat with people. Like if I don't need to worry about like doing a bunch of editing, like
And if it doesn't interfere with diaper duty.
yes, I'm good for a healthy conversation. Obviously, I have a lot of opinions, and I try to keep them largely limited in this channel to within the purview of
Except for the last
Power Rangers.
10 minutes.
But also, we have had those big pushes of like, the live stream raising funds, and I've done a number of videos in the past conveying my concerns over the rise of fascism. And I've even used a Power Rangers analogy to explain the definition of fascism in a previous video. The Demons and Definitions review, where I used the demons from Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue as an analog for fascism as outlined in Umberto Eco's Fascism essay. So
It's there, to look for.
Yeah, I've become much less shy about a lot of this stuff over the years, because I do feel as though you need to speak out, and I'm not doing justice to I'm not doing justice to what I keep proclaiming here on how inspirational Power Rangers is in terms of being good role models, taking an active interest in making the community better, trying to save the world in your own way as best you can as an ordinary person. Like, these are all things that I feel like these are the things Power Rangers should be inspiring me to do, and I'm trying to do that as best as I can as, an extremely busy and very tired person.
Do we have any more Power Ranger
Questions,
comments?
Let's see, I think, the last comment was Ranger Vision saying I would listen to your political podcast. So I think it might be time for us to wrap it up.
I was going to say, I think we lost MJ.
Yeah, I can check in and let them know that we're wrapping up and saying goodbye. But thank you both for being a part of this. I was for the rap party, I was wondering like how many people can I get together for this. And honestly, I feel like just like the four of us all together was just a really good.
It would have been fun to have Chris here. Well,
Yeah, it's always fun to have.
haven't seen him in a while.
He was busy this week, and Steve Hendel is at Comic-Con.
And
down
I've
in New York
never
Comic-Con.
actually met him.
No,
Really?
I have no. He came on the scene locally after pretty much when I was into other things, and yeah.
Did you guys not act opposite of each other in Great Defense? I feel like he yelled at your character at some point, but you might not have both been on the screen at the same time.
I yelled at a lot of people who were in the same room with me.
I know.
It's kind of thing that worries people. It's like when I'm in the car and yelling at the person in front.
So yeah, it is getting late. It's been nearly 3 hours. It's not quite the full on marathon of the 2020 live streams where I go for 12 straight hours.
Oh, wow.
But
You can only do those when you're young.
Get home and check on their friends and
yeah, even 4 years ago, before kids, very much younger. I'm gonna quickly see if MJ is able to join us for a farewell.
So now what do Dave and I?
puppet show.
I have no idea.
Hey, puppet shows. That's Power Rangers related. You're talking about figure. All right.
So, what is... that doesn't look big enough to actually be worn.
It actually is. It pops open at the back.
Oh, I see.
There's a couple of openings.
I see. Is it a specific Power Ranger?
That is Jake's character. That's the Phantom Ranger.
Okay.
Now, originally, and the first times we see it, it's all a not green screen, but a CG effect.
Yeah, I did a CG effect for the helmet for the first,
By the time I got there, she had
like 2
control
years.
anyway, but I felt weird coming back. So thanks for coming to get me.
Okay. So yeah, it's okay. We talked politics for like.
That's all I missed.
Your tab includes Chase.
Yes. Oh yeah, Jenny was just talking about the stream when she's like, I donated extra to make sure you get to Wasp with a heart. When we were doing when I was, because it was like
Yeah,
for
we made it all the way through eventually.
we made it all the way through to Countdown to Destruction, yeah. Which
Because
was
people actually did keep it going. Every time we thought it might die, somebody came
because
through.
the way it was structured was for every additional $20 donated, I think it was, I would talk about another episode of Power Rangers. So I kept going
That works.
through the first 293 episodes of the show.
God.
That was the first 6 seasons. This was spread out across the course of several weekends.
Okay.
Yeah, when he ran out of time for the weekend, he'd stop and he'd do the whole weekend. And that was when I was in my 3rd trimester with RJ.
Yeah. and that was clearly that was sort of the end of us doing the live reactions and things like that. And here we are at the end of the channel in many respects, or at least the channel as we've known it for the last 12 years. I mean, this YouTube channel did exist a little bit before I established the show. There's, I think, maybe a few old videos from like college.
You mean the one where you were cutting off Mr. Potato Head's ear?
That might still be on this channel.
I don't want to know.
It was a Reservoir Dogs reference.
Sure.
Okay.
Video project for college. They had to
Recreated a scene from a famous movie.
And Mr. Potato Head was the victim because, you wouldn't want to cut off a real person's ear.
That's okay. It's more than I needed to know.
That is true. Which I feel could sum up so much of this channel.
Pen and sword.
It's like you've
Pen and
watched
Sword
an episode of Power Reviews and you hear me talk about Power Rangers and it's like, yeah, that's more than I need to know.
But it's packaged.
I mean, just within this episode, I go on, I talk for, after I've already summarized Day of the Dumpster, I then proceed to talk about Day of the Dumpster for longer than the Day of the Dumpster episode actually was. There's always more to discuss. There's always more to talk about. But I think I am ready to yield my time. So thank you all for being with us throughout this journey.
Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Again, for joining us.
Thanks for taking us along the ride. Yeah.
I'm so thrilled that you were able to be part of it, and so many others. Like that final.
Those who could not be with us here tonight.
Yes, especially. But yeah, that final credit scene it keeps going. Why does this keep going? There's so many people.
That's just year 3.
And that was just year 3. Like, there were other people who were involved in year 2 and year 1. Like, so many people. I mean, I never credited them as such, but there were. I think I ran through the entire alphabet for my alphabet 2 pages.
I kind of almost thought you were going to put the actual letters.
I was tempted to, but they were never credited as such, and I wasn't going to have every. I didn't
But
want to
like, for
go.
example,
I didn't want to go all the way back to the ones from back in year 1, year 2.
yeah.
Because I was already putting so many people in that.
Well, I mean, we knew that Yak was Agent U.
That's true. Hey, you, Agent U, reporting for duty.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you from A to Z, everyone who's been involved with this.
And K.
And especially K.
And D.
It's like
All the letters.
I tried to make sure that final episode would say everything that I felt needed to say. But I don't know if I can ever really say enough of how much I appreciate everyone indulging me. And I'm glad that we've been able to bring you joy and those little moments of heartbreak. And I hope that this inspires you to do good in the world in the way that it has inspired me. Working on this project has been such a massive journey. And one of the reasons that I feel like I need to let it end is because, as I kind of stated when he was saying goodbye to Kay, I'm not the same person I think I was at the start of this. And it's time to kind of let that person go. It's time to let go of that character. Database Ranger was my online handle since high school, since we and I met. And then I created this whole character surrounding him, this whole story, and now I am an adult with a house and 2 kids and a career, and I want to be more a part of this world, and I think I'm ready to do that. I hope that I get to hang out with you guys a little bit more, as well as many others who I haven't been able to spend time with, and especially obviously my family. So I'm gonna go to.
Yeah, RJ's asking for you.
Oh, sure, there.
Time to say goodnight.
I love my kids so much; they are wonderful, and I need to go help them say night. So night to all of you. So maybe I should say I'll say the same thing I say. Night, sleep tight, sweet dreams. They love you.
Good night, everyone.
Night,
All
Barbara.
right, and we will have our as always our remaining 3
Three
equally
non-controversial
non-controversial phrases.
Different than the ones at the beginning.
These are other 3, which are number 1. Say with me, chat. Love is love. Number 2. Say with me, chat. Trans rights are human rights. Number 3. Say with me, chat. Robots are
Robots are
cool.
cool. Unless they're AI trying to take our jobs.
I can go with that one too.
Also true. Not all robots are cool.
Just robots conceptually are cool.
Robots, as a concept, they're cool. Like, especially like, simple organic biomechanoids who save monkey parasite by life.
Should we start discussing the 3 wrongs of robotics or no? Good
No.
night. Time over there. Okay,
You're
something
about to get a
else.
zero
Something
flaw
else.
error and end this whole
All
screen.
right. Good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody.
Here I go.
Good night.
Everybody, I'll leave you all in the frame there as I'm coming in. I'm coming for. Here I go. So
Don't pull out the cord. Bye.
here
You
comes.
should pull out the cord. We're
Yes.
done.
It's
We're done.
You can do this.
put a
Jake.
fork in me.
You
I need
can
to
do
say
this.
goodbye.
You can do this.
I need to say goodbye.
Push
Oh yeah, put the button. Okay.
Push the button.
So there's only one thing
Push
left for
the
me to
button.
say. Here's what I gotta say. Farewell, Ranger fans. And let the power protect you. Always.
Did we miss any last questions?